I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days, and it's not the same pizza. It's not the same product. It just doesn't taste as good. The way they're making the pizza, the way they're putting the pizza together is just not fundamentally sound to what makes a Papa John's pizza a Papa John's pizza.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I never listen. I'm gonna listen. I wanna listen to the Dom Zone.
Welcome to our Christmas edition video.
Vidya.
Pizza Wednesday. Around here, around these parts, we say Christmas.
That's right.
In fact, we mandate it. Don't come at me with that holiday BS.
Actually, I had to talk
on
to-
the wall, on my outside wall, you see my lights? Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays.
On your wall?
The wall outside the house. You ever drive up here at night and see it?
Did you do that?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What do
you mean, no way?
You put those lights on the wall outside?
Yeah. Don't you love it?
I do, but I didn't think you would do that.
It took me like 3-4 hours the other day.
I still
gotta-
don't know if he's telling the truth or not. It looks
Do you
great.
not believe me?
You're pretty convicted about it, but initially I'm a bit surprised. I would have thought that was more of a wife job.
Oh, no. Please.
Well, I just mean, you're wearing your little
Do
maid
you hang
outfit.
lights?
No.
Excuse me?
He ain't doing that. He ain't getting on a ladder.
Okay, so you don't put lights on your house.
No.
But you put on the neighborhood wall?
Yeah, because now it's for all three cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, sharing merriment.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm saying to everybody, Merry Christmas. Not just like if you happen to drive around to the front of my house. 4 people live on this street.
Hey, I'm Muslim.
Well, Merry Christmas.
But you cannot put that sign inside the high school. Sorry.
That's true.
This is our only Christmas edition, not holiday. Only Christmas.
A customer service rep said Merry Christmas to me yesterday, and I was actually kind of taken aback by it. As I told you guys, I had to call Geico
Okay.
for the lady that rammed my car. And it was just like, I feel like Happy Holidays is ubiquitous in the corporate world now.
Yeah.
You don't think they have that information in their system?
And I was like, what's your badge number? And I called back.
Joining us today, you might notice a different face on our video. Our guest throughout the day is going to be KJ Ellis.
Hello.
No sounder at all.
No.
Fair. No, it's okay. It's okay.
We could get a cricket riding a tumbleweed.
Yeah.
But
no,
no.
I appreciate the invitation.
How do we bill you? How do we say, why are we having you? Who are you?
I thought it was a Black Santa. Jake told me to either do one of two things: dress as Black Santa, or as if somebody could confuse me with Big Al Mack from Kiss FM. So I picked option 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
But I'm happy to be here nevertheless.
Co-host of Too Much Dip. I wore my Dippy shirt today. Oh,
Thank
you.
you.
Can't see it. Yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you. This is I think this is my Wash Media assigned public retributions. What would you call this? Reparations, maybe for the
God.
one.
Let's go reparations.
Yeah, the one patron potentially lost on our dime.
Jake just has
for Jake.
Jake recoils when he hears the word reparations.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, is it
like-
coming from me?
Absolutely.
Don't love that. Tax the rich and give it to them. It's like
Yeah.
the 1%.
He's like, what else do you
1%.
want?
Yeah.
Correct. And
You're
I'm also
voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In which state?
You're winning golf tournaments.
Yep. Yep.
Like, what can we have? We have nothing anymore.
Yeah, we found out
We
over
can't
the last
even
couple
say
days you have
Christmas.
all the cornerbacks.
Yeah.
That's where things really broke down for our team defense.
I have to say, while the invite is genuinely appreciated, I certainly found myself yesterday being like, why wasn't I on the show today? I'm referring to yesterday's episode as both race wars and unnecessary naming of rooms and homes and saying nobody would be offended. As I am somebody that does refer to it as the primary bedroom.
Have you always? Like, did you, when you were younger, you definitely thought it was like, that's weird? Well, it's not so much that it's
when I was
not
younger,
weird,
it
it's
was
that
an
changing
apartment
it does
and there wasn't
nothing.
there wasn't
That's
a bigger
true.
bedroom.
It was
There was no master
it
to
was
be had.
the room.
Let's see. I'd probably say it's within the last 2 to 3 years for sure. But I can also say, as somebody who resides in the great state of Wisconsin, the home that we're in currently was a new build, so you can still see stickers or spray paint or whatever in the basement rafters of like, hey, this air duct is going to this room. Everything there says primary, and that's like stuff that's coming down from manufacturing. That's not a realtor making that decision. So there's a reason I crossed that Mason-Dixon line.
I heard you once talking about living in Wisconsin as a man of color. Can we call him?
I don't think that. Yeah, most people.
He's a black dude.
Doesn't say that anymore, but whatever.
And just saying that it was like you liked that all of the, whatever, your landscaper, your people that you have to hire to do stuff for you, they're all really white.
1,000%. It's a beautiful,
Like
beautiful
the feeling
balancing.
Yeah.
I will add this too. There's also at least 10% female landscaper in Wisconsin, at least in the Madison area in which I live.
Interesting.
Which I know I've heard you two talk about your wife doing the lawn mowing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here to learn how to negotiate that into my household contract.
Buy a riding lawnmower.
That's right. That gets her really going.
Oh,
yeah, that's the only
She's
reason she.
into riding things. I can tell you that, I guess.
Yeah.
But that being one, and then the other, having a dog and naming him Wallace, not after The Wire, but certainly after the.
You do Where's Wallace?
My kids do it and I laugh, since surely they've seen The Wire as many times as I have. But my dog's named after George Wallace.
Okay, who's George Wallace? I know the name.
Alabama governor.
Oh, okay. He'd be
blocking schools.
standing there with the National Guard, or he's against the National Guard.
Correct.
Yeah.
Calling him in to keep us out. So, maybe I have a power dynamic.
I mean, what's the big deal? There's another school down the street. It's
Sure.
equal.
We have
It's
these
equal.
buses.
It's just not connected.
Exactly. So, so both the landscapers and the dog, probably the two biggest things people who don't know me should know.
All right, so Jake, you've gone with practicality over vanity. You are using the lap pillow today.
Yeah, it's just a weird. I love the camera setup. Looks amazing.
The lap
obviously.
desk, I should.
But I'm sitting in a different spot from where I normally sit, and I noticed yesterday that my nuts were just sweating so bad.
Yeah.
When I tried to put the computer on my lap, which I don't like really doing that anyways. Like Blake and I were talking yesterday. When I'm at home, I go pillow on lap with the laptop because, as you know, I don't have a desk.
Yes. You don't have a office. You don't have anything.
I don't have anything. So yeah, I went. I think you said this is your wife's. It's
No. It's mine. It was
Okay.
given to me many years ago. I just haven't used it. I used to sit there every night watching TV, and I would use that as my.
My one complaint
It's a
about
lap
it would
desk.
be the bottom of it is leather, and as anybody who's ever had leather seats in your car knows, I mean that's sweaty.
Yeah.
So this thing is already like dripping a little bit. But it's I mean my legs are hot. You know?
Yeah, you're a sweaty guy.
I am a very, very sweaty guy. In fact, I did not wear this shirt over here. Most days, you guys should know I change shirts in Dan's parking lot or Dan's driveway because I've already just destroyed it. Yeah.
I do know that should we pivot to video every day, I'm probably going to have to up my plain T-shirt game because I enjoyed your Hooters 9/11 T-shirt, and now you're.
Let freedom wing.
Yeah, like it just feels like we need wacky T-shirts if we're going to be on video every day.
For continuity purposes, I think you would win here, though. You rock the same shirt, you can stitch together episodes, clean up editing.
That's true. For continuity,
Content
I
guy
am,
right here.
I am the man.
I was disappointed that you Simpsoned your way out of going into public with that shirt on. Like, if you're going to wear it, rock it. Don't be afraid of it.
It's just, I was afraid of it because I go to that store a lot. It's got the Twin Towers and the Hooters owl on it.
That's funny.
I can name 2 or 3 shirts you own that would get worse looks than you wearing the Hooter shirt into.
Yeah, but I don't wear them into Tom Thumb though.
Do tell.
Oh, that was, we had a bit. Like we've been on, 10 years or 8 years of vacations together, and everybody always tried to up the F on the funny T-shirt. Yeah.
The one-upsmanship for the T-shirts is certainly a bit that you would think is a throwaway thing, but like we would take these trips, Hangout Fest, Montana, Austin, whatnot, and to Jake's credit, as like we kind of have a rhythm to it at this point. Jake usually has like mid-football season anxiety somewhere between like September and November, outside of kid life. And that's when he's like, I've got to have something to look forward to. So he'll throw out, let's start looking. Inevitably, friends of the show, TC, Mike Marshall, will be in the group chat. And me, as both a narcissist and a control freak, I will inevitably always like piss somebody off, and then we'll go back to whatever the original plan is, and it'll get booked. I'm kind of a procrastinator, so like the trip will be July. I'll buy shirts maybe in May. This freak of nature over here will purchase a shirt like February, purchase a shirt in March, have another option in April.
I got a few bookmarks.
Yeah, he's a
TC
planner.
will go on a trip somewhere and collect a shirt and bring it back, and I show up and I'm like, yeah, I got this Boys and Girls Club shirt from Goodwill. Look at me, guys.
Dare? That's original.
Yeah, real Bits Ahoy guy right here, but then I
saw
get Casey Anthony's face next to me, and I'm like, okay.
At the gym the other day, I saw a dude wearing a DADD, like MAD. It was the same font. Mm-hmm. Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Oh, no.
Dads Against Daughters Dating. It said underneath
yeah.
it.
And it's got a big gun on the back.
So is that
you hate that. Yeah, hate to have your daughter experience life.
But to parody MAD, it just feels.
Yeah, I mean, it's an equal thing, right? Like, you don't want the mom doesn't want you driving drunk. That's bad. The dad doesn't want you dating. Bad.
Just don't buy her dinner, right?
Oh my gosh, man!
I think that's the direction you have to go.
I guess I can speak on it when I get there, and I know everybody has a little bit of hesitancy about it, but I've never really understood the I'm gonna be here with my gun when you get back.
Well, you just don't want someone, having sex with your daughter. That's basically the whole thing.
Well, I mean, I don't. But
Until
what I really don't
they get
want
married, and then you ask them about it all the time.
Right.
Like, when are you going to have kids?
Yeah.
When am I going to be a grandpa?
In some cultures, they watch.
That's really?
Yeah,
I guess I've seen some of that on.
Yeah, I was going to say. In this
Video or two.
culture, I watch.
It's our holiday/Christmas edition, so we do have a few things that have been mailed here to the den.
Real quick, how did y'all meet?
Uh-oh. That'll be a derail.
Was it I
think it might have
flag football?
Flag football's when we met directly. I was living in Austin, I don't know, we'll say a decade ago, and had grown up, being a listener and whatnot, all that jazz. But in those long 2012, 13-ish years of television, you didn't get Cowboys games. I'm not a Cowboys fan. We can get into that later. But I would listen to their first iteration of IJB Dow.
Yeah, cool.
And that's when I learned about. I didn't even listen to IJB at that point. I just was looking for a way to hear the Cowboys game and have something to, keep up with. When I moved back, I wanted to fight this guy from flag football, not knowing it was the same person. Fast forward throughout that game, and I see a former teammate of mine from Texas Tech.
It was a mutual friend.
Played
with
You wanted to fight Jake?
And I find out it was the same guy.
That's great.
There aren't too many people who don't have that same reaction.
Like if they play flag football, at the end of the game they want to fight you.
1,000%, because he plays angry.
Even the most religious guy on the field who's holding your hand before the game.
I've gotten a lot better.
No. And I would say the other, you fast forward a couple of years, the three of us played flag football together.
Yeah, we all
joined.
joined.
So Blake can probably speak firsthand to, I am not innocent in this conversation at all.
No,
either, nor
say.
is he nor Mino. But
I was the worst.
the T is the highest out there for no reason at all. But yes, it was flag football, how we met in person. IJB Dow or whatever, the live stream was key. I bring that up only to mention keep doing the live streams because, again, it's not going to be this current audience only that listens and finds you guys.
Yeah.
That's how I'm here.
Very cool.
All right. Well, some of the
Great
Christmas-
question, Blake.
Oh, I didn't know y'all's
No,
history. I mean, and I'm
No, there's probably no other time for that except for in the middle of
I'm serious.
When
I was thinking about how we would cover that.
Yeah.
when I'm just telling you all the stuff that's been sent to me. So this was from someone who says they met us at Fan and Tree Farm with their kid. This is Sarah. She was upset. Their kid's name is Maverick. Little picture of Maverick there.
You know.
Are you anti-Maverick?
Well,
as a
they
name
sent us
for
a Christmas
kid?
card. Maverick broke 4 points in the AHL last night. How much longer can they keep him down there?
I know, man. Jeez.
stop regurgitating tweets that you see.
What?
This was mailed to, it says the Dragon, or no, this is mailed to Uncle Hotmail, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. Would you open it? I think it's some kind of a hip-hop ornament.
What?
The other day,
Is that?
Jameson, our piano theme guy,
Pianist?
Pianist.
our penis, gave us some homemade granola. I don't know. Do you grow granola? How do you get granola?
His mom makes it.
Oh, okay.
and
They got a tree. They got a granola tree.
It's fantastic.
Can we see
Oh,
this?
you've already eaten it?
Yeah.
Snoop.
What do we got there? Oh, that's Snoop.
Yeah, it's a Snoop elf.
Oh, okay.
That's whew.
You
You
got
don't
to.
feel like I can put that on the tree?
I feel like you've got to nail the likeness here. Otherwise, this gets very.
Yeah, no, this is very Eyes of Texas.
I think that Snoop on a stoop.
Okay.
Okay.
So
You do an elf on the
yeah.
shelf? Or I guess you can't because you guys left.
Correct. Yeah, we're not home for it, and I don't think we will. We might do the Jew on a pew or whatever it's
Oh
called.
my
No,
God.
Is that not what it's called?
not being at home for
really hope
Christmas.
that's
That's
what it's called.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
interesting.
I need logistical advice if you've ever done it, like heading back home with the kids. But we can cover that later.
You got a lot of things you're teasing ahead for.
Yeah.
We're going to cover his non-cowboy fandom.
Yeah, that's not that.
How
vital.
long you think we're going to? This was in my mailbox this morning. There is no address, so whoever brought this obviously delivered, and it says to Jake Kemp from Paul in Dallas.
I can definitely say this was not me.
And now
Faithfully.
I also got you guys some gifts.
Oh, look at that.
I'm going to do gift giving.
Should I open this now? Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay. I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say,
a little
for
worried as
security
well.
Purposes.
Sometimes we open these things ahead of time just to know.
Maybe take me off camera for 1 sec.
Could be.
We had a felony a couple of times ago.
Yes, we should promote Rob and Clay again are out here.
Heck
Same
yeah.
setup. These cameras have been set up in the den since the broadcast on
Box
Sunday.
inside of a box.
You love box.
Yeah, dude.
Nothing you love more than that. So
Is that a Jack in the Box?
Oh my God, guys! Did you hear what that was?
No. The Jurassic Park theme?
Oh, okay.
oh wow.
Dude. Wow. People give you really good gifts. That's awesome.
I feel like John Williams.
Please tell me a dinosaur pops out.
Thanks. It's definitely not what I thought it was. I got that wrong.
Well, since
What is it?
we're giving out gifts,
That's incredible. Whoever gave this.
we're giving out gifts to Jake first.
Share with the class.
It's Minch on a bench. So the other one I've confirmed is somebody's book, a memoir. Jenny Berg, shouts to you.
Jew
Sorry.
on a pew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I'd read it once, so maybe that's why it was in my head. Shit.
This. It'll still work. This is for Jake. I bought this for Jake
Oh, thanks, pal.
because of the whole
puppet.
an actual puppet,
Yep.
a Donald
coming
Trump
back, baby.
Oh, yeah.
a Donald Trump
On our
puppet
way back.
with the hat and everything. This is for Blake. He can use this perhaps every night with the young Brooks or the new baby if he ever makes one for me. It's a
For
book.
you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
He's just
gosh.
hammering him every single day.
It's a dude perfect children's book.
Good Night, Dude, perfect.
It's a
kind of like
nighttime
Good
book.
Night Moon. You ever do Good Night Moon?
Oh, love Good Night
Yeah.
Moon.
Yeah.
We do Good Night Football.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
And
from the
and,
makers of Good Afternoon Football.
Yes.
Good Morning Football.
And I wasn't aware KJ was going to be here when I ordered these gifts.
Uh-oh.
So I actually, but somehow I had
Uh-oh.
ordered this, and I knew he'd love it. This is Tony Chachery's Bold
Here you
Creole
go.
Seasoning.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
As a
Only
big,
Merry
C's.
Christmas from me.
as a big fan of the Riff Raff video and of the brand as well.
Sure.
There are many years of my life where this was probably one of 3 seasonings in the cabinet. So
What else do you need? You know?
this will continue to ride on as we are devoid of flavor in Wisconsin.
Look, Tyler's slam dunking a teddy bear.
Ah, there you go. See? They are everywhere, dude. They are absolutely
Yeah.
everywhere. And we're here. This is all we got.
Yep.
How
But-
far are we from a like they're going to have a staycation resort type thing, like a Great Wolf Lodge, like you can stay and
An,
play
an immersive experience.
a dude perfect resort.
That's
It's
actually a
gonna
really
have to
good
happen.
call. Somebody will Hilton or something will partner with
Yeah.
them.
It's got to have a water slide, like,
Oh yeah.
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 Have you seen
It's got to have
Marriott?
kid stuff.
Marriott try to rebrand? I always thought it was Marriott. Is that
What was the first word you say?
Marriott?
It is Marriott.
It's Marriott now. Now, in all of their commercials, they're saying Marriott. Apparently, they are mad that people say it the wrong way.
I don't even know where to. What?
Just a little fun fact. For
I
all
have
those
not.
out
I have
there.
not heard. No,
Okay. Well, keep an ear out.
but I'm fast forwarding through commercials.
I accepted Verbo, but this is a bridge too far.
I do not accept Verbo. And
I
never
do as
will.
their PR personnel. She's a good friend of mine. But
Well, son of a bitch. Blake is right. He wouldn't have said it if he hadn't
yeah,
read it
no,
somewhere.
that's not firing off into the void.
Should rhyme with chariot.
Bad.
Yeah, their new commercials, they say it a lot. Marriott.
Trying to sound a little more like European or something. It's like, come on, I'm at a Marriott.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about this other than the intercontinental breakfast. Mwah.
The Continental.
Continental, yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a trip to Belgium. Where the waffles. Okay, so on today's program, it looks like we have lots of football. We have audio. We have a lot of Cowboys stuff. I have one that relates to all three, kind of, called The Media Sucks. If you would like me to start with that.
Sure.
And let me just pull down my music bed for a moment.
I can just
And-
play the Jack in a Box if you need.
Does anything pop out?
No, well, there's gears in there.
Okay.
I say Jack in a Box. That's not what it is. I don't know
Music
the term
box.
for the. Yeah, there's gears in there, like that are turning.
But he's asking like the ballerina music box. Like,
No,
does
like
anything
it's-
similar?
Anything pop out? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got.
Oh,
So here's my
That's cool.
that's fancy.
The Media Sucks. Because I told you guys on Monday that Brock Purdy, obviously he's number one for the MVP odds now. He wasn't when a certain member of this crew got in at like plus 1350. But he's now pretty much plus 200, 300, something like that.
He was minus 200 yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, things are looking good for the old guy who doesn't know anything about sports over here.
Nothing could
Doesn't
go
bother
wrong
him.
now.
So I was telling you on Monday, boy, I also had read some quotes where he said he wants Christian McCaffrey to win MVP. And that might even garner him more love from the voters because really a running back can never be MVP. Let's be honest.
But he's not a real running back, though.
Still, if Christian McCaffrey misses a game, they probably have more chance of winning than if Brock Purdy misses a game.
You say that, except they lost 3 games when they didn't have Debo.
Okay, good point. Anyway, let's go back to why the media sucks.
Yeah.
So I read that story. I'm excited. I'm like, this is my guy, Brock Purdy. This is awesome. So let me play you the answer. He was in a press conference, and he said what I'm saying.
Dude, I think Christian should be MVP. I really do believe that. You know, he does everything for us, runs the ball well, can catch the ball. He does everything. And so, in my eyes, that's an MVP.
Okay, so basically, that's what he's saying. What a guy. He's deflecting from himself. Now let me play you the question that led to him saying that.
Oh, no.
Rob, you just gave a great description of Christian and what he means to the team. What's your case for him to be MVP?
Dude, I think Christian should be MVP. I really.
So he was in a press conference just talking that he had a great game. He was running left. He was running right. Blah, blah, blah. I threw him the ball. He ran.
Why do you think he should be MVP?
Right. And then
Well,
he
I wasn't
says.
really saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
I
all.
say. And then what's he going to say at that point? Well, actually,
If I can't win it, then
I'm not going to say I'm going to make a case for him to win MVP.
He just laughs. He's like, he's the running back.
So the media
Yeah, that sucks.
are working on their Christian for MVP story, and they had to ask him. And therefore, also, now the media gets a juicy soundbite from him where he's just a team guy. He doesn't want the accolades himself, all that kind of stuff. So,
Dude, he's leading the league in rushing, and he has 509 yards receiving and 7 receiving touchdowns.
Plus 1,000 odds.
For C-Mac?
Uh-huh.
Man,
Behind Brock, Lamar,
didn't know.
Brock, Lamar, Josh Allen, and Prescott.
and is there something to where, I think kind of like with Baseball Hall of Fame, because this all does come down to writers, correct?
yeah.
Is there something where the writers might say, like, actually, we think running backs still do kind of matter? A lot of older guys, you know.
White.
Yeah, but just older football people. Yeah, but white maybe. But I think also.
But, I mean, Christian McCaffrey,
yeah,
it might help that he did. I think Adrian Peterson once got MVP, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the year after his ACL.
yeah,
Yeah, 2,000 yards?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Before the switch.
yeah. He beat his kid with a switch, and it was also probably before he siphoned all those funds out of his charity to pay for those orgies at those hotels he was renting. But he won an MVP.
Right.
I'm not going to offer any like hot sports like take here that's going to be novel or anything, but
That's what we're all about.
I think that Christian McCaffrey could play for any team. No, I don't think that it's going to happen in the sense that
If I just had 10 Christian McCaffrey. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Brock Purdy, it will either be Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson. Both looking at the odds and like they're not going to move all these quarterbacks out of the way in order to give it to Christian McCaffrey. I just don't see them feeling like that is more impressive than, I don't know. It's a lot like the Coach of the Year scenario, it seems like. You've got to both be the player that is surprising people and deserving from a statistical standpoint. And I feel like that's what Brock Purdy is, surprising people. Christian McCaffrey, I feel like it's more expected from like a career standpoint. I don't know.
What did Cam Newton say recently? He got ratioed or whatever. Something about certain quarterbacks are just bus drivers.
Dak was a game manager, as well as I don't think it was Josh Allen, but he had another one on that list. Maybe it's Tua and Dak are game managers. We're on that list, and then he took a lot of heat for it.
Okay, let's see. Maybe Jared Goff was on his list. I'm trying to find his list.
Was
But
this on Keeping It Real Fridays?
No, I think this was Funky Friday.
Funky Fridays, that's right. Keeping It Real was the Cowboys. Yeah, good call.
Dak for sure. I'm trying to think. You kind of see what he says, though.
Dak, Tua, Jared Goff, and Brock Purdy.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing.
Does he say who's not? Certainly Lamar. Did he list who's not a game manager? Or? Okay. He just listed guys.
Josh Allen and Lamar, I would imagine. I feel like
Mahomes is not a. Yeah.
Mahomes, I guess, is not on that list.
But I don't know. I mean.
Guys that their team is as good as they are.
Well,
Pretty much.
I would not put Dak on that list, personally. And I know KJ's a Dak hater.
I wouldn't put. You wouldn't put him on game manager?
No. I wouldn't put. I think. Dude,
But he also. I wouldn't
look
put
at the
the team as good as Dak is, though.
No, I'm just
And
saying.
I would only point to Cooper Rush going 4-1.
Go back and look at those games, man. I mean, they were putting up they were not putting up many points. They were just not losing. But you got Debo, you've got McCaffrey, you've got Ayuk, you've got.
I think Cam
Gesicki,
Newton
you've got
is
Kittle.
comparing these guys to prime Cam Newton. Is where I think he's coming from.
probably
And
so.
prime Cam Newton was certainly the reason they were great.
Their team, I can't remember what their full supporting cast was.
Steve Smith for a little bit.
Early
right?
McCaffrey.
Olsen.
Yeah.
He had
Ted-
Olsen pretty much his whole
Ted
career.
Ginn, Olsen, yeah.
That's
So he had some. I mean, those are
some.
notable names for sure, but not like I couldn't name you Michael Orr or he had a lineman. So I'm trying to think like, did he have a line at some point? They had a good team.
That Super Bowl year, they didn't have McCaffrey, right?
No.
No.
Yeah, they had Jonathan Stewart and C.J. Anderson, maybe.
So yeah, he wasn't without support. As much as some other quarterbacks out there might be, but.
I mean, I'd say you feel like Lamar Jackson has had little support over the years.
Again, Steve Smith.
Yeah, very little.
I feel like that's a team
Like what
that gets
name
hurt.
stands out? Yeah.
Oh, Mark Andrews. but
Mark
obviously
Andrews
now
again,
he's-
just like Greg Olsen, like similar paths in that regard, I guess.
Yeah. I suppose that's what Mahomes has had, his blanket too.
Yeah, but he also had several years of Tyreek Hill. That
Yeah.
helped jumpstart him, give him a little confidence. All right, so I'm going to play you a piece of Jerry audio, and then we can move on from Cowboy stuff. And, yeah, you just never, despite living here for high school.
Oh, Cowboys thing.
Playing college football in Dallas.
I think it
You
was
just-
always about the fan bases. Like at a young age, annoyed me, and I was also raised by a father. Breaking news. My dad was not a big Troy Aikman guy. That I will say there are some cliches that check out. I think he certainly changed his opinion on it over time, but like hearing that over time, my dad was a Vikings fan growing up. He's from Illinois and blah blah blah. He's a Vikings fan, so he always hated on the Cowboys. That didn't drive me to like the Vikings. It drove me to watch a lot of NFC North games, and at the time, the Bucks were in the division, and I became a Bucks fan until they drafted a kicker in the second round and traded up for him.
Robert Aguayo?
And I jumped ship to become a Jags fan, which brings me back to this conversation about quarterbacks. The Jalen Ramsey soundbite, probably 6 years ago, from Jags locker room, where he's like running down the list of quarterbacks that aren't good in his opinion, and he was like Ben Roethlisberger, and there were a couple others, but then he talked about Jimmy Garoppolo. He's like, that's all scheme. And I keep going back to that quote about whatever quarterback is plug and play with the Niners. Like Jalen Ramsey's a loudmouth in a lot of ways, but I would say history has proved him correct with regards to Garoppolo, and then you see how quickly that's transitioned to Brock Purdy. So if there is a knock on Purdy as an MVP candidate, it might just be that.
And now he's a Jags fan.
And now I'm a Jags fan. I've stuck with it.
Now, to be fair, he was a Jags fan like pre-Trevor Lawrence for sure.
Pre-2017 AFC Championship, because they've been there twice in the last 25 years. It's unfamiliar. I get it. But no, pre-AFC, this was when they drafted Myles Jack and Jalen Ramsey. That's when I jumped on board. So,
You know what I remember about that AFC Championship game is that it was against the Patriots, and the Jaguars got the ball back with I'm going to exaggerate and say it was like a minute 20.
Is this the one like 5 years ago?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right before half, down. And rather than try to put some points up with old Bortles, they just knelt down
Yep.
the clock
They-
when
yeah.
they got the ball
A
back.
minute and a half.
Yeah, they're just like, let's just get to the tunnel, boys.
Yep. They were happy to be down like 12-9 or
Yeah.
some shit. But yeah, anyways, so I'm a Jags fan. Riveting stuff. And to have a non-white owner also contributed to that decision. I'm fully transparent. That also stuck out.
Well, that's not the case here in Dallas. And so this question is for Jerry. He was on a radio station. And this is something that we talk about a lot, and I think it's going to drive Dan absolutely insane.
Jerry, there was a report this week from Ian Rappaport over at NFL Network that Mike McCarthy could be in line for an extension this offseason. Is that anything you're looking at heading into the spring?
Right away, before we hear the answer, I just want to take Dan's temperature real quick.
How many guys are going to get bit by these things? Why do an extension? What's the point? What's he got on his contract? 2, 3 years left?
I think it's 2.
But the point is, you are doing what you were hired to do. You had a good roster when you came in.
One more year, actually. Sorry. But
you
still.
were hired to make this roster to get the most out of it that you can. Jury's still out on whether you have, and it will still be out after this playoffs, especially you get bounced early. So, again, this is college. It really is baffling. But you could at least see why they do it in college because
Poached.
yeah, you can poach people, and that sucks that they are able to do that. You know, for all that I am very pro-labor, I am pro. If you sign a contract, I think you should stick your contract out, and I think, you know, the employer should pay you your contract no matter what. But, yes, the extension for doing basically what we hired you to do. We hired you to win a bunch of games and to be a good coach. You are. So don't act like, oh, my gosh, we're surprised that you're doing that. Let's lock you up. No one's going to steal Mike McCarthy in 2 years. If you let him play out his contract, he'll be back. And if they do steal him, you're fine.
It's your old Ken Hitchcock point.
Yeah.
That
Ken Hitchcock went into his final year saying, as a coach, I think this was what was pushed out behind the scenes to the media. As a coach, you can't be a lame duck coach because the players, will they listen to you? Will they pay attention to you if they know that you're on the last year of your deal?
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous.
Did you ever have a coach get fired mid?
Yes, Phil Bennett for June Jones was there for that exchange at SMU. And I
That's a wild one.
yeah, it was quite the dynamic. So I started with Mike Leach at Tech, and then to Phil Bennett to June Jones, and
That's a troika.
I've seen the valleys. On the lame duck year, though, college, not only for the poaching standpoint, but like for recruiting, that's a fully valid thing to throw out there. I don't agree with let's re-up for significant amounts of money, but a contract extension to almost evergreen, keep it at 3 years so you're not recruiting players in, being like, hey, I've only got 1 year left. That's an easy target for counter recruiting. For NFL, there's not a justifiable excuse.
Jerry Trice.
Well, he's been to coached 3 playoff teams in a row. I think he's done an outstanding job. I think the fact that he's your offensive coordinator as well as your head coach puts him in as high or higher stead than when he was the walk-around coach. All of those things are positive. I frankly said to the staff yesterday, you got us in this spot to be as disappointed as we are about the Buffalo deal and our loss there.
Interesting.
It's your fault because y'all have done such a great job this year getting our team to where.
My biggest fault, I worked too hard.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You got my hopes up.
What a weird way to
You
tell.
raised the bar too high.
Yeah, you guys are so awesome.
This is why I'm so mad at you.
Yeah.
Because y'all have done such a great job this year getting our team to where we, our fans, everybody, have the expectations that we have. You pushed us up here to where we get out here and play great this next 3 weeks, and we could absolutely have something great happen for us. Now, y'all caused us to be disappointed here on Monday by not living to that standard up there. But hats off to you. In other words, I didn't spend my day in there looking grumpy or looking however you might look, even though we were all disappointed. Part of the best part of our team this year has been the coaching staff.
So he started by
He
saying.
deflected it all, yeah.
Yeah, he started by saying, McCarthy's been great. Here's his track record, here's the credentials, and he ended it by saying the coaching staff's been great.
But he's not about to give an extension. And he shouldn't.
Especially when Dan Quinn is on your staff. If McCarthy did get poached, you'd probably have an equal or better coach already on your staff. Now, if Dan Quinn wasn't here and you were looking at Schottenheimer or someone else to step in, then maybe it's different.
Which, to Jerry's statement, Brian, who I'm learning now, Cornelius Schottenheimer, is your offensive coordinator.
Cornelius.
By title, by paycheck.
You could tell how
if he
little
flat
Jerry
out
cares
said the
about
loud
that.
part,
He's like, McCarthy's the OC.
Like,
I mean,
I'm like, wait a minute. No, he is
He's
not.
just like-
We all know he's not calling the plays.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it meant. But
I
still.
mean, it goes back to when we played audio of them. I think it was probably from the Senior Bowl or something, where Jerry's like, they're like, well, what do you love about what Brian Schottenheimer brings to the table? He's like, his dad was awesome. I knew him for a long time. He was a great dude.
So I'm interested in following the story of Philly and the Cowboys are tied right now, and if they both win out,
Yeah, it's crazy.
they will get down through. So there are 12 tiebreaker
Oh, yeah.
situations, and they're going to get down to at least the fifth one
Strength of opponent or
because
something.
they have same head-to-head record, best record within the division, same record within common games, and then same record within the conference. So, yes, next it will be strength of victory in all games.
I don't really know that I've ever considered that ever.
Is that point differential?
In wins.
Well, this says strength. Well, yeah, strength of victory. Sorry. So, yes, does that mean if you are winning a game, you want to pour it on a little bit at the end? Then
No,
strength
no.
of schedule
No,
in all
no.
games is 6.
It means, okay, and I'll just read you verbatim. What is the combined win-loss record among opponents that a team has beaten?
That's not strength of schedule?
No.
It's
Oh, but
strength
it's just
of
but the victory
teams
over
have
the
beaten.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Got
beat.
it.
Okay, so if you've beat Carolina and then somebody else beat Buffalo,
Yeah.
obviously your strength of victory there. And I
Exactly.
think Philly did beat Buffalo.
They did.
So it also
How-
credits you for if you were to lose to, better team.
Arizona. Well, no.
Well, no,
won't-
if you
This
were
is
to
not
matter.
strength of
Right.
victory.
Because
yeah.
if you were to lose to the
Philadelphia didn't play
Dolphins,
them.
you're not being hurt as much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's what it's going to come down to, and I guess for now, the strength of victory is with Philly. And that can obviously change. Then it gets to strength of schedule in all games. And I suppose that is
Why is it with Philly?
strength of victory because they've beaten Buffalo.
Yeah, but doesn't Buffalo have the same record as the Seahawks?
You lost to Buffalo.
I think after the Eagles' loss, it dropped them to 5, was my understanding. But, either way, it'll play out.
Yeah, and I mean, Dallas got Seattle and Philly didn't.
I'm
Yeah,
just
they got the
glad to
same.
know that
Okay, so you're saying – I'm sorry, I interrupted
Yeah,
you.
go ahead.
Are you saying that you think Dallas is ahead right now if it ended
No,
today?
I just didn't know why it was clear-cut Philly.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, KJ.
I'm fairly sure we saw Jerry Jones' quote saying he was up all night giddy about seeing the Eagles' loss, and that I feel was tied to the Cowboys being technically slotted above them. Could be wrong.
What's after
Well-
that? What's the next one?
Okay, strength of schedule, then best combined ranking among conference teams in points scored and points allowed in all games.
That's insane. That's the
I'm
one we
out.
need to get to.
Get to best mascot
get to
eventually.
Wait, combined rankings among conference teams.
Forbes ranking.
Well, you could do what high school football used to do and
Flip a coin.
no, it was
Penetrations?
penetrations.
Uncomfortably named.
After overtime, if everything was, and didn't it go to total yards first?
Yeah.
If total yards were the same, score was the same, everything was the same, it went down to how many times did you penetrate the opponent's territory.
First downs, I think, might have been in there, but yes.
So if you did it twice, then that would be a double penetration?
Yeah.
It's fun to see in person, isn't it?
It feels great not to have to do it.
Yeah. That's your role on your show. We gotta.
Best net points in common games, best net points in all games, net touchdowns, and then you get to coin toss.
I'd love it.
Coin toss, the
Coin
NFL
toss.
coin toss.
Yeah, it's Lurie. It's Jerry Jones.
That would be on Fox.
Oh, my
yeah.
gosh. That'd be huge.
Gene's there.
So there is a path.
Lurie's wife.
An hour
Getting
pregame.
stats on this person's coin toss history.
There is a path to winning the NFC East. And if you remember this big stat that we've heard every year since, 2005, there has not been a repeat winner in the NFC East.
Yeah, I've
which
never
is
really known
fascinating.
to. That felt like it. It is fascinating, but it's always kind of felt just like an anomaly to me. just like a randomness of.
But it's the longest in NFL history,
That's true.
as a matter of fact.
They
And
just
you've had
haven't had
all
a
four,
dominant
right?
team.
But you've had all 4 win at least 1 year, right?
Yeah, the Washingtons won RG3's year, right? Yeah.
What a primary
The
veteran
Giants-
sidestep that was.
The Giants haven't won the division since 2011. And
Yeah.
the Washingtons have won it 3 times since then.
Whoa.
Who would guess that?
Yeah.
Not me. 2012 was RG3.
They won with a losing record a couple years ago,
That's right, the 7-9 year.
and then one other time.
Huh.
A
I
Kirk
don't-
Cousins year at some point. Probably you like that year at some point.
Man, I definitely would have gotten that wrong.
Huh.
And then as I'm going down that rabbit hole of, looking at division records and all that, just got to thinking about, how long has it been since the Cowboys have been to the NFC Championship game?
I can tell you. Let me guess. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say I can tell you, because it's the only crutch I have to stand on as a Jaguars fan. It would have to be 98 or 99, right?
NFC Championship game? No,
Am I
dude, you're way
missing
off.
one?
The Cowboys? 95.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking, no. They went to go
No, trust me.
the Steelers Super Bowl.
No.
95.
It was 95.
Oh, it was 95?
Larry Brown.
92, 93, and 95. Okay, I thought it was 98. But, yeah.
1995 is their last, and there's only 2 NFC teams that haven't been there since the Cowboys.
Lions and Washingtons.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Too much of a layup for Jake there.
Browns and is there another AFC team? There's
Ooh, that's a
probably
good question. People don't throw that one in my face quite as often, so I'm not as well versed in it.
How many AFC teams haven't been since 1995? Yeah.
The Jets, I believe, have touched it once.
Sure they did, yeah.
Vinny's year,
Mark
like Vinny's,
Sanchez.
or
Yeah, Sanchez got there. Have the Patriots been?
Okay. I'm going to
But
give you
anyway.
one more NFL story before we transition to
Oh, my one more Cowboy thing, though.
okay.
Because part of this, too, is the, if they win this weekend, that'd be pretty big for winning the NFC East.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably over if you don't. Considering Miami beat them, you need to keep pace.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, Philadelphia beat Miami.
oh, because then it'll flip in both sides. Yeah.
All those tiebreaker things. And I had not, I wasn't even thinking about this. I think I heard Bob say something about this yesterday. Vic Fangio's with the Dolphins,
Oh, yeah.
and that's Cowboy kryptonite.
It traditionally has been. Yes.
He's the guy that was with Denver a couple years ago when the Cowboys were really rolling
Yep.
and stopped them. And then remember after that, it was, Denver had the blueprint. Denver could stop them. So,
But Denver's blueprint was his blueprint.
what do you mean?
Just run 2 safeties, run two high safeties, and then make them dink and dunk. That's exactly
And-
what Denver did.
And was that what Buffalo did last week?
Yeah,
And that's what you're going to expect this week?
yeah.
They also run the ball a ton, and they run it really well, and they run it in weird ways, exactly like the 49ers do, like we were talking about yesterday. So
So
it's shaping up for a long afternoon.
Well, I'm saying they're an explosive offense. Cowboys are on the road, and that's always tough. So what is the Cowboys' path to victory?
prayer.
Shootout?
Tyreek didn't play last week. You got to hope maybe he stays out another week. That's like, start there. And then you got to expect that Micah's not going to have 2 down weeks in a row from an individual performance standpoint at least, and that it looks more like the Seahawks game than Buffalo in that regard.
Jake, would you feel differently had they looked better last week?
Yeah.
Because you were all in.
Well, I mean, I still think they're like one of the 7 best teams in the league.
You think it's
But-
just a matchup thing?
Yeah, I just think they happen to need to get through 3 or 4 teams that run the ball really, really well, and that's just not really what they showed up for. It's a tough thing. Very few teams are really good against both the run and the pass. There are a few, and the hope is that you just don't have to be. You can make a team one-dimensional.
Honest question, and I don't think anyone's rooting to go to Philadelphia, but would you not want to drop and play Tampa rather than hosting the Lions and then, potentially hosting the Eagles?
I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, what would bring me more satisfaction in the second round?
Like, this isn't like
Avenging
dodging a
the
bullet.
49ers or beating Philadelphia, because it's just very hard for me. Like, I feel like somehow there's a bunch of Philadelphia people on my timeline.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to San Francisco earlier.
No.
I know. I want. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably gonna have to do both if you really want to get there. But I don't know. Like, if in the second round, which one would get me more hyped up? You obviously have a way better chance of beating Philadelphia. I don't have really any animus towards the 49ers, or like animosity rather. I don't know. I love Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
I think you're completely forgetting, like, the thought of playing the Lions twice would not be ideal.
Yeah.
I think that's the part where, like,
That's a body
all of
blow
this, like,
thing.
how to figure out how to win a division in order to – well, I guess they'll be division winners, so you wouldn't be playing them. It would be –
I'd be really worried about beating the Lions. I still am in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, yeah, the one other NFL story I wanted to do real quick is we haven't really talked about him much, but obviously one of the bigger stars of the last month of the NFL season is Tommy DeVito's agent, who dresses like I was going to say a henchman, but he looks like he's in charge of the henchman. Like, he's got, like, pocket watches and crazy hats. You're familiar with this, right, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I've seen –
He's on the field for, like, not everyone's agent is on the field all the time. In fact, most are not.
well, because I was sent a bunch of pictures of him recently when I said, oh, he's playing it up because he knows – it was Monday Night Football.
Yeah, this is the moment.
Yeah, he knows this is his time. The camera will find him. He's going to be on the field. Apparently, he dresses like that all the time in different crazy forms, and he's been down there before. But even when his client wasn't the starting quarterback, and he knew the cameras would find him, that's who he is. I love it.
I would find it really odd. Dressing like that all the time is one thing, but if I were on that team and the backup quarterback's agent who dresses like a mafioso was just on the field, I'd be like, what the fuck is this guy doing down here?
But I mean,
like, my agent's Drew Rosenhaus, and he's not here.
Yeah.
Like, why is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know if he's there every game.
Sports Hall of Fame jacket.
But he's probably there for the home games because they
Yeah.
are from 3 miles away from the stadium or whatever they live.
It feels very New Jersey Uncle Nate. Like, just, hey, here's a guy from the neighborhood.
And he doesn't look that old.
Little slick talker.
He looks too young.
Oh, yeah.
To be that.
So the agent and Tommy DeVito received their first negative press over the last handful of days when a pizzeria in New Jersey.
What's the name of it?
I saw that pitch on the scouting report. You can do it.
How can you not say the name of the pizzeria?
I'm going to let him do it.
It's the wonderfully Italian named Coniglio's.
Kind of a
It's a pizza restaurant.
that's similar, uncomfortable along the lines of the
Jay on a pew.
along the lines of the Seattle receiver who got the game-winning touchdown the other night. Also uncomfortable name.
Dan has
Jackson
a really hard
Smith.
time with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Fair. If he wasn't local and I wasn't aware, 100% would be there.
Anyways, there's a pizza restaurant. And they were going to pay him $10,000 to appear, I guess for some sort of an event. But his agent, Sean Stellato, doubled the price after they beat the Packers last week. And, he's walking around in his expensive Italian suits, and he calls the place. There's probably more details to this than what meets the eye. But the agent calls back, and he's like, price of the brick just went up. Like, nuh-uh. We're winners now.
That's too bad.
Of course,
That's kind of like
classic Tommy DeVito. He went and made it right.
He made good.
Okay. I was going to say that'd be like my site calling me saying you don't get that much money for Brock Purdy's MVP now.
Yeah.
You got to get in. They got in early.
Yeah, he just said that. I mean, you know what this guy is doing, this Stellato guy. He's wheeling and dealing behind the scenes like, look, you're busy with football.
Or is this
Like-
whole thing manufactured?
That's what I thought.
The whole thing is a plant just to make Tommy DeVito look even better.
By Leo's, the pizzeria, as it's known locally.
Yeah.
That seems exclusionary to leave that part out.
Because Go ahead.
I was only going to say the only upshot, genuine approach here is you just cancel, but you're pulling the whole contractor. We're just going to throw out a quote of this isn't worth our time quote. You didn't want to do it. Are you really trying to squeeze them for money type situation? So it's just not a good look. Just cancel.
Just don't want to do it. Dan knows about that.
Yeah,
it's I don't know.
Oftentimes, if we get to the day we're supposed to do something, I'll pay you to not do it. I know you were going to pay us $200, but
we've had a couple of those instances recently where Dan and I are on the phone what would we have to give to this to not have to go? All right, that's NFL.
All right, that's NFL. Should we take a nice break? And we have still to come Jake Small Reports type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Other sports audio.
College football for sure in there.
We got news. We have Today in History. Just so much on our...
And KJ's closing remarks.
Ooh.
Oh, you have closing remarks?
And
you have to prepare that.
KJ's dad going on 23andMe.
Okay, we can do that, or we can do Black or Not. One or the other.
Okay.
We'll package it for later.
The Dumb Zone.
Wait, you changed your name to McLovin? McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin.
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the would it be between that and Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a book for once.
Fogel, have you ever actually met anyone named Muhammad?
Have you actually ever met anyone named McLovin?
No, that's why you picked a dumb name.
You.
Give me that. All right. You look like a future pedophile in this picture, number one. Number two, it doesn't even have a first name. It just says McLovin. What? What name? What name? Who are you, Seal? Fogel, this ID says you're 25 years old. Why wouldn't you just put 21, man?
Seth, listen up, ass face. Every day, hundreds of kids go into the liquor store with their fake IDs, and every single one says they're 21. Just how many 21-year-olds do you think there are in this town? It's called strategy, all right?
Let's stay calm, okay? Let's not lose our heads. It's a fine ID. It's gonna work. It's passable, okay? This isn't terrible. I mean, it's up to you, Fogel. This guy's either gonna think, here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor. Okay? So what's it gonna be?
I am McLovin.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone, The Dumb Zone, The Dumb Zone. The Puppet.
All right. It's our holiday edition. Like holiday music. Christmas music. Royalty free, Blake.
Thank you.
As we're on video.
Yep.
We won't get flagged again.
Yes, as I just said.
Flagged. KJ's with us. We got Rob and Clay with us doing the video. Say hi to the video. Where are we looking? Hey, video. Hey, everybody. How's it going? So what's still to come? You want to play Black, Not Black? What are we doing? What did you tease?
I need to find the actual list, but it just would reflect poorly upon my knowledge and of, I don't know.
What was it before the show?
Okay,
what
so
were we saying?
let's just cut to the chase here.
Doc Ellis is black. I'm not sure if you knew this before.
He looks me dead in the eye, and he's like, dude,
yeah.
Doc Ellis, black as hell.
Not just black.
I'm like, yeah.
I mean,
I'm not like a baseball historian, but I mean, it's one of the more famous baseball stories of all time. I'm not sure that I would have known who Doc Ellis was if it wasn't for the LSD no-hitter, but still.
There was one other that I have to own because this was I don't know, summertime. I'm just going to gauge the room because I know you know. Satchel Paige.
For real?
That's his name.
Yeah.
He's black.
Oh, yeah.
Were you aware?
Yes.
Who's not? He was one of the most famous Negro leaguers of all time.
Whoa!
Yes, who's not in the Negro League? I agree, but I'm now aware. Satchel Paige, one of us.
That's
Big
the
win.
reason he didn't even get into the majors till he was like 40.
I
because
didn't
he
read
toiled
the
away.
news in 1940.
Yeah, I know
60.
Pearl Harbor happened. But I didn't get my paper December 8th, though. Like, I still do.
It's not present.
That's a
How
big
about
one.
okay? I'll give
I
you
swear
one.
to you, I
That's a really big
1,000% learned both that and Doc Ellis just this calendar year.
I'll give you one you guys might not know. Fun fact with the name Satchel. Gibby Haynes named his kid Satchel. Gibby Haynes, former lead singer of the Butthole Surfers from Dallas.
Black?
Nope.
Oh, okay. No.
Now I know everything is about race to you, but to me, I'm just thinking that was an interesting note that he named his
It's
kid
a very
Satchel.
white band name.
Well, I'm aware who the Butthole Surfers are, so maybe that explains why I didn't know Doc Ellis's pigmentation, but, you know.
KJ's probably heard me tell this story before, but one of my lifelong friends, we went to middle school
This
together.
guy's about to hit you with my best friend was black.
But we didn't actually start hanging out until 7th grade. So all during 6th grade, I knew there was a guy named Darius Fletcher. And I thought it was one of the black kids in our school that I didn't know his name. And then next year I met Darius, and he's super white.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm
It
like,
does
you're
feel like
Darius?
that's not a white man.
Then who is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know that I ever addressed him
You're
as
like,
Darius. But
I didn't know I could be friends with a Darius.
What an
This is great.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could tell everybody I got a friend named Darius, and I don't have to have a
No
bunch.
follow-ups,
You
please.
can play at my house now. I didn't even know.
Satchel Paige.
I will own it. I don't need
Oh,
to. you know.
man.
We're learning. I guarantee there's
We're
going to be one listener who's like, "Oh, you know what? Wikipedia was right."
Jeez.
All right, let's do this now.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
That's right, holiday edition.
Holiday edition of the Dumb Zone News. Okay.
Royalty free. This will not flag us on
This
YouTube.
episode better not get flagged.
This news bed.
A former NBA G League player allegedly admitted to strangling a woman in Las Vegas.
With what?
We'll get there.
A former NBA G League player.
Yeah, he's former now. He was
because of the strangling.
Yeah, with the strangling and all. This is a wild story. So the guy's name is Chance Comanche, which is awesome and sounds like something Chuck Norris would have been named in a movie. So him and his former girlfriend.
Oh damn! It's Chance Comanche again.
Oh,
I haven't heard that name
thought we
in a
got
long
rid of
time.
Comanche. Former girlfriend, 19. The two of them worked in tandem to choke a 23-year-old woman on December 6th.
You get that side.
Hours after he had played in a game against G League Ignite. You know, like the G League All-Star team. So this guy's like playing as of 2 weeks ago.
Wait, same day?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's not odd.
What do you mean? You know,
To do some choking that night of a game, yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like the off season is you'd be a little more bored and
Yeah, the
Yeah,
prearranged.
but you're all hyped up, teed up. You're ready to roll.
So
Can't just go to bed.
Comanche, go ahead.
I didn't know he had an accomplice,
Oh yeah, it's his girlfriend.
and they just teamed up to choke someone.
His girlfriend is a prostitute
There we go.
or sex
Oh.
worker, if you want to call it that.
Legally, right?
Yeah,
Vegas was all I saw, so that was what caught
yeah, but
my
it's
eye.
not legal in Vegas.
Oh, fair.
Really?
Outside of Henderson County or whatever.
You gotta be
not
like-
like I know specifically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got to be way out there.
Oh, I thought.
I mean, you can do it. I'm
okay.
sure. Like,
I thought it was legal in Nevada.
no,
All
it's not a
Nevada.
state thing. It's a county thing.
County
so-
rights.
Huh? County rights. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing was about.
Yeah.
at the core of it. And his girlfriend, sex worker, had beef with the victim, sex worker, over a Rolex, which feels like something that I'm sure they're still very popular, but 20 years ago was like a much bigger deal.
That's what Tommy DeVito's agent's slinging.
Oh, yeah. you have to figure that at some point, Stellato has sold a Rolex.
He is a watch for a gift guy, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So they bound her with a zip tie in the back of a car, and then he used an HDMI cord to choke the victim for approximately 10 seconds.
Oh, I do have a lot of those.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Too many.
That's unfortunate.
But it's nice and thick.
I'm going to play you a little bit of the CBS News report on this. And we've already covered some of these details, so it'll be slightly repetitive, but there's some other interesting notes in here.
Comanche started a group chat with Harnden that included a friend identified by police as Trey, who asked what Comanche wanted done to the victim. Comanche responded with a coffin emoji, and Harnden with 2 peace sign emojis and a white dove. Trey eventually declined to be part of the murder plot.
So this is where they're trying to get a hitman, and apparently now you hire a hitman with emojis. Just coffin emoji.
Yeah.
Like, boy, I'm being coy here. The police will never know.
Or
what exactly.
Was that their Venmo description?
Yeah.
Can I quickly
what
ask,
was it for?
if it was not murder, how are you going to describe your other options short of murder?
Yeah, no. Like, I wanted them...
The water pistol, it still implies murder.
I wanted to buy them doves and wish them peace.
Yeah.
Short of the skull and crossbones.
It's about as clear cut as it gets.
But Harnden and Comanche continued planning. Comanche suggested...
So that guy was like, you're trying to hire me for murder with emojis. This is too weird. I'm out.
Harnden and Comanche continued planning. Comanche suggested getting Rogers drunk and mixing rat poison in her drink, or making her overdose on drugs, adding, there's a lot of ways to kill people. Eventually, Harnden told Comanche to sit in the back seat of her car while they picked up Rogers and pretend to be a trick, which is slang for a solicitor of female sex workers, which multiple people in the report said both Rogers and Harnden were. Comanche talked about methods of killing, saying he could do it from the back seat, like how killers do it in the movies.
All right, this is not going to work then. You know what, like people who assassin or hitmen, they never say, I'm going to do this like in the movies.
Yeah.
Like,
I love a lot here. The newsman reading all this stuff is great. I love
a funeral emoji.
What I don't like is, or what you don't do is make them overdose on drug. You're going to use our drugs.
That's what you're worried about, the stock.
Yeah, you don't want to make them overdose on drugs. The rat poison thing.
That's comical.
Yeah, you're not going to, want more rat poison. Well, Jake might.
I don't know. My mind, yeah.
On December 5th, Comanche played a game for the Kings at Dollar Loan Center Arena in Henderson against the G League Ignite.
Okay, let's leave out how funny it is.
At Talking Stick Smoothie
Dollar
Center.
Loan Center.
Just call it Ruining People's Lives Coliseum.
Is that the SEO they were hoping for when they purchased those rights?
Hey, that's where Chance Comanche, the HDMI cord murderer, played.
Cameras caught him after the game leaving his room at M Resort and getting into Harnden's car. Rogers' friends recalled dropping her off to meet Harnden in that car and reported seeing a stranger in the back seat. Cell phone data shows Harnden, Comanche, and Rogers traveling to a liquor store and then to a cul-de-sac, which is where Comanche and Harnden both strangled Rogers, according to information Comanche disclosed in an interview with police.
Yeah,
he said afterward he and Harnden drove a short way into the desert and buried Rogers' body under rocks.
Rocks?
No shovel. They didn't bring a shovel.
They didn't even bring a shovel. Like, get a bigger one. Get a bigger rock.
The cul-de-sac, I assume it was intentional. It wasn't just like, oh, well, shit, this road doesn't go any further. Let's just do it here. But why not go to the desert first there and do it? Unless you think, like, she'll get suspicious. But still.
I would be suspicious if someone was like, let's get a bottle and go to this cul-de-sac where everyone loves to party. Well, as you can tell from the report there, he is already, talking.
Are they showing narrative? They showing B-roll during this voiceover?
Oh, yeah.
He's like hitting an alley-oop.
Of like a
2 hours.
Yeah.
It's none of her highlights, all his.
Speaking of liquor stores, Texas state law prohibits liquor stores from being open on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, so plan ahead.
You're always very concerned about this. Are we still... You have your Sunday stuff?
Blue laws?
Yeah, remember
Oh, yeah.
that used to be a big part of your news reports.
Yeah, I mean, it was always something that came up in the text ledge.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing this year is that since they both fall on Mondays, they will both be closed the day. They'll all be closed the day before as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
So your Christmas Eve,
New Year's Eve,
Christmas, New Year's Day.
which, I mean, as a Midwesterner, it's not something I can relate to.
None of it?
Grocery stores, CVS, you can get liquor at any of those, which is weird to me. That's something I had to adjust to. I shouldn't be able to, like, go pick up bubble bath for the kids and, like, a pocket Seagrams. I'm not doing pocket Seagrams.
Came to mind pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. But open on Sundays is certainly something that I'll walk in and just kind of, I'm here.
Look at this.
What time they stop
this
selling?
This place is open.
Well, I mean, if they sell it at the the gas station, can they sell
9 o'clock in Dane County,
Okay.
which is
Same
Madison
as here.
area. But then outside of that, I think it's midnight because Wisconsin loves nothing more than their OWIs or DWIs. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think I guess I'd have to look at the breakdown, but I mean, I think at least half the country you can get it at the grocery store.
Mhm.
And I think the Sunday thing is not very common either.
wildly unnecessary at this point. Which you got to think that if with all the hubbub about casinos coming to town and whatnot, you've got to break the Sunday liquor thing before you bring casinos. That I would have thought the horse track would have beat this by now. But if you're doing gambling, how are you not doing Sunday liquor store? But whatever.
What is it in Ohio?
I don't remember any restrictions on anything.
No.
Sunday for sure.
Yeah.
Those always seem very antiquated.
California, obviously, when we go out there, like you walk into Vaughn's and there's just like a whole huge liquor, wine, beer, like it's just part of the store.
Yeah.
Tough news for Dan as electric scooter company Bird has
And I guess I don't even understand.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh.
They filed for success.
Yeah. But I also don't understand. What is the difference between why can't you buy Jack Daniels in the same place you can buy wine?
It does. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's going to get you effed up a lot quicker. But I mean, my example to you, which has always been hilarious to me, is that multiple places, even just in Grapevine, there is a CVS or a Tom Thumb next to a bar.
Mm-hmm.
In the same shopping center, there is a bar. And at 11 a.m., I can go in there and I could hammer.
You can go into the bar.
Yeah. Or, I mean.
But you have to wait an hour
Yeah,
to buy it from the place
and on
next
top
door
of
to
that, I can't buy liquor. But I can go into a place at 11 a.m. on Sunday, your football watching, havens, your B-dubs and Boomer Jacks and stuff like that. They'll run liquor specials during Red Zone on Sunday. But you can't go to a store and buy it. And you know what's weird about that is the only way, absent Uber, that I'm getting home from the place where you're making me get the liquor is my car.
Right.
Whereas ostensibly, if I wanted to go to the grocery store,
you could buy it,
I
then
could
go
take
home
it
and drink it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yes, all things that don't make sense logically. It's kind of like when you can gamble on a river.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't gamble on land in the state. Sorry. Just skip over the Bird one.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
So they're bankrupt?
Yeah.
I wonder if we could buy their scooters at a discount.
Ooh.
That's a great call.
It does say they will continue to
We could put up
operate
a
as
memorial,
usual
like-
in Dallas during this process, but it doesn't look good.
The definition of bankruptcy completely escapes me.
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember when I was a kid, and we would have like a family member, like an aunt or uncle or something, that I would hear like they're declaring bankruptcy, and I was like, "Are they going to jail?"
Yeah, it's terrible.
Why are they telling you that?
And then I feel like I knew. You knew your scene was probably similar to mine. Like I knew everything that was happening with.
It was more for me. It was all right. Well, I know we moved here, but we will be moving again quite soon. We weren't quite Bishop.
Don't get too comfy.
Yeah, it wasn't Bishop Sycamore bad, but it was certain like, Well, that 6-month special on DirecTV is done, so we're back to basic cable, and just let's keep the Rubbermaid tubs full. How about that?
Stay agile. Yeah, but I don't even really know what it means. It seems like it's not as bad as I thought it was when I was a kid. It's like I'll just declare bankruptcy.
Like it's just a business.
Like
thing.
I think Creed was actually not that off in The Office. Whenever he tells Michael, he's like, just declare bankruptcy. Michael runs into the office. What are you doing?
You don't have to comment.
But we're on video.
We're on
You
video,
can't
and
hide
you're
it.
noticeably off mic.
And you're behind him on his.
My dumb ass was like, wait, does Dan have some sort of Garth Brooks-esque headset? He's just hopping up and just taking a little...
I just thought you guys seemed to be talking, and that'd be an opportune time for me to grab some water.
Okay. I mean, we just had a break, and we're on video.
I know. I forgot to.
Anyways.
You don't apologize.
I found this headline to be confusing to me because it's an article in WFAA.com previewing all the new restaurants the DFW will be getting, including entertainment-type places, restaurants and entertainment in 2024. They mentioned the Peppa Pig place, which over my dead body.
I'm out on 2.
You guys don't like that?
Do they not have one in Grapevine already? Grapevine Mills doesn't have a Peppa Palace or some crap?
Yeah. If they do, it just opened.
Yeah, either way. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Where's the Peppa?
For me, it's the accents.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And then what do you do when you're there? Do you eat pork?
No, you're not going to eat Peppa.
Peppa patties.
Oh.
But here's the one that really confused me. From the makers of Toys R Us is coming back. Steak and Ale.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Talk about I hadn't heard that name in years. Like that was
it needs to be the exact
high
same.
living.
It needs to be
dark
as hell in there.
Dimly lit was all that was coming to mind. It was like stone, dimly lit,
made you feel
Six Flags
it
adjacent.
just felt so rich.
But the dark bread and then the salad bar that sat on ice, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, it's like, boy, how come no one else has thought of this?
And I would get no lettuce, but get all the salad toppings.
Oh yeah,
and just
get some
eat
croutons with ranch.
some croutons and bacon bits
Shredded
and ham
cheese.
and shredded cheese covered in ranch and eat that as a salad.
You wouldn't get lettuce.
No, just all the salad and the deviled eggs or the eggs.
I still
on
don't
top.
eat salad or lettuce. I go full other greens. I cannot eat lettuce.
Romaine, you mean, or whatever?
Well, I mean, spinach
iceberg.
is lettuce.
Is it?
Yeah, spinach I can do definitely.
Is spinach lettuce?
Okay.
But he's trying to invalidate my point.
I believe he's leafy greens is I think what we're all talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. I'll eat kale, arugula, spinach, but I cannot arugula.
I was going to say you're mispronouncing it.
What the-
Because
But
you
you don't
fucked
like-
that up for my
you don't
brain.
like the iceberg.
the one Obama word that I can arugula.
Which is a lot healthier, right?
American families.
Eating all that stuff is
Can't
healthier
afford.
than iceberg.
The
Yeah.
arugula. I think it is, yeah. But I just can't do the crunch lettuce.
Fair.
See, that's what I
Which
need.
is usually what they have at salad bars like Steak and Ale.
Yeah, you need. That's the texture you need.
Ugh. So this one will open in Grand Prairie.
You like some goo.
Appropriately.
Relative to shut up. Relative to our last story, after they went bankrupt in 2008.
Yeah. They're a Brinker
They are.
outpost. I grew up, my mother worked at like Chili's, Romano's, you name the Brinker place. She'd worked there at some point as manager or whatever, but Steak and Ale was like outside of her realm, probably because they were going down the drain at the time.
That was a popular White Elephant gift card. The Brinker gift card.
Ooh, yeah.
You could hit all
Use
four.
it anywhere.
Yeah.
Among other openings, we will have a second chicken and pickle. This one will be in Allen.
Third, Grand Prairie.
Why is Grand Prairie getting all
Well,
this?
Grand Prairie had the first up here, and then, of course, this guy doesn't roam outside the 114 corridor anymore.
Absolutely not.
Is only aware of the Grapevine Collaville one.
Do they have that? Is that popular up there?
No. Well, pickleball is getting popular.
I guess you mostly have to play inside.
Oh, that's what you're
Weather
talking about?
appropriate, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. So chicken and pickle, that's the pickleball place.
Yeah.
The one I went to. The one I
didn't
told
know why
that
you
I
were
went
so
to.
against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I just hate chicken.
Yeah.
The overall kid like occupy the kid spot, great. I'm not signing up for pickleball there. In Madison or Wisconsin, like it becomes a tremendous use of vacant box store.
Okay.
So they're building pickleball courts in DD lots or whatever the hell
Circuit
closes.
City.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
That's what's dropping in those.
Which sucks because for years my idea has been the Metroplex is just absolutely ripe for paintball. As industry
You
went
need to repurpose
as
those
industry
things, though.
went online, I feel like we could have kept a certain part of the economy, alive with paintball. And for whatever reason, pickleball beat me to it. All right, I guess that's the 1:30 news.
Or just the news.
Or just the news.
Yeah. I guess that's all I got, too. I don't have a close. So
Write that down,
say something at the end.
Okay, there's the news.
All right. What's next?
Well, KJ and I have to leave by like 10 after 3 because we're going to confuse the teachers at my daughter's school in thinking that I have made a life change and now I'm involved in an interracial homosexual couple.
That will feel a lot better from my standpoint than like always being worried if I'm going to be asked if I'm like if Nicole will be asked if I'm trafficking her. Is my main concern typically. That is typically like my external guilt, which nobody's ever asking because she's above like a size 4, and so they're like, "Oh,
That
this
helps.
checks out." But I'm looking forward to it. If Sister
be
Mary
fun.
Catherine is wondering why this contractor is sitting in the
Not
front
a
seat.
Catholic school. You are dressed like a contractor today, though.
Just make sure that you say Merry Christmas when you see people, and that'll throw them off.
So I did want to play this college football audio and get into the backstory of it a little bit, as we have a former college football player here. New Mexico State and New Mexico played in the New Mexico Bowl recently.
Okay, that seems pretty spare.
So beat.
Or Northern Mexico.
Yeah. They played somebody else, but they played at New Mexico.
Okay, I thought it was New Mexico and New Mexico State.
No, whatever. Go on. You
Am
tell
I-
the facts. You got the story out.
I thought you were right.
Yeah. So they played, and after the game, Jerry Kill, who you may remember for being knocked down in the TCU-SMU fight, you were right?
Fresno State. But it's okay. They were at New Mexico. That's
Okay, so that's the point here is that New Mexico State is at New Mexico to play this bowl game. They have a rivalry, and New Mexico didn't want to let them practice in their indoor facility.
Correct.
Didn't want to let New Mexico State practice in the indoor facility because of things that had happened in the past.
Oh, okay.
So they were hosting the bowl game at their site.
Correct.
And they have an indoor
So
field there.
yes, somehow the Eagles are playing a neutral site game here in Dallas, and the
Yeah.
Cowboys do not let them use the Frisco.
Yeah, or they make it, a huge, huge problem. So the backstory.
I love it.
Yeah, the backstory on
And
this.
college is especially good for this stuff
Oh, the best.
because college is where they will make the band sit real high. The visiting band sit in the worst seats in the house for some reason.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, Jerry Kill was the guy that got knocked over in the TCU-SMU dust-up that made Gary Patterson get all mad.
And Gary Patterson accused Rasheed Rice, I believe.
Richland Rebel.
Richland Rebel, Kansas City Chief. I guess, Rebel at the time, maybe Royal now.
Yeah.
Of being the perpetrator of knocking over Jerry Kill when later footage showed it was basically him falling down his own
He's
ass,
old.
his own
He's
player.
just old, and there was a bunch of stuff going on.
Jerry Kill also notable prior to that when he was at Minnesota for his sideline seizures.
Ooh, yeah, it's not.
Yeah, he was pre-row the boat.
So what's he
in
doing now?
Minnesota.
He's the head coach of New Mexico State.
Correct.
Okay. Nice.
And
Congrats.
10 wins back-to-back years at New Mexico State, which I do think that's
that's incredible.
phenomenal.
My memory of him was he was the fill-in coach for Gary Patterson whenever Patterson got fired, and we still had to do the Gary Patterson radio show. And so it was him up there, and in the last show of the year, he ended his show by saying, "Hey, if any of you are hiring, I need a job."
So he's always prone to some wild ass
yeah
quotes.
Yes, and we'll get to that in a second. So the whole backstory on this is that the starting quarterback for New Mexico State, where Jerry Kill is the coach, Diego Pavia, he's from Albuquerque, which is where University of New Mexico is. But they didn't recruit or offer him. So when he was back home last summer, a video surfaced a couple months after this incident, but during the summer, he was filmed laughing and urinating on the Lobos logo in the middle of the facility sometime during the summer.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm home, I'm going to sneak onto the field, and I'm going to do some pissing. And
because they're the team that did not
it's his hometown team.
recruit him.
It's very Baker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I wish I wanted to play there. And
Yeah.
They didn't even come after me.
Yeah. And now he's, balling out for Jerry Kill in New Mexico State. But the video eventually comes out 3-4 months after the fact. They didn't suspend him, but as you'll hear Jerry Kill say, he told him he could no longer do media, which feels like some coaches just some coaches just do that anyways.
Yeah.
So after the bowl game, there's this whole big Jerry Kill rant aiming at UNM.
Great bowl game. We were taken care of 100%, and it was a great bowl game, and
I guess
hopefully we can do a good enough job to come back someday. But they did a great job, and I appreciate it.
Feel like
now the other part of it's this, we had all kinds of stuff, here at the bowl game trying to get done. He had to fight his ass off to get us to be able to practice in an indoor because of a situation that happened, down the road. Most of you know that. Okay. I did my part. I disciplined the young man. And it may not be the time to do it, but gosh, I'm going to get off my damn mind because I hadn't said anything about it. We disciplined the young man. He doesn't get to do any interviews and stuff like that. If you want to take a toothbrush and clean toilets all the time, that ain't a lot of fun. And do community service. Well, guess what? I hope the AD here gets the same damn discipline with the people around this state that Diego got.
Time out. So does that mean the AD just doesn't do media interviews? Because
yeah, that was the same punishment.
Is he trying to say that he didn't make him clean a toilet with a...
He almost implied that was a part of his punishment, which if that's the case, that's the headline.
Yeah, no, I think he's saying what do you want?
All punishment isn't that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's funny, though, is he takes aim at the AD that he's like, he should be punished just like Diego was. It's like, you mean he doesn't have to talk to the media? I'm pretty sure every AD would love that.
Yeah.
Gets the same damn discipline with the people around this state that Diego got, because he deserves it. And it don't bother me a damn bit. When he don't let us want to practice in the indoor facility, when he don't want us to do this and do that, that's chicken shit.
Whoa.
And I don't care. That's my opinion.
I don't care.
I get in trouble. I don't give a shit either. Because I can go down, and I can go down to Mexico tomorrow, drink margaritas, and let you all enjoy your life, because I'll be enjoying mine. But I got class.
Sounds like
I've had class my whole life. And you can ask the college football profession.
Just in general? Is it college football profession at Hotmail?
Yeah, you just call them.
I've had class my whole life. You can ask the college football profession. I've had class. Never been treated like that. And guess what? When that incident happened, I didn't know about it for 2 months. And we beat them right here. Then they tell me after the game, take that to the bank. And he better be disciplined. He better be disciplined by the state.
Ooh.
If he's not, it's a crime.
Crime.
Wow.
Oh, man. Sorry, Governor. I know you had a meeting on border security today.
Hold on. Yeah, don't
You're
issue
not
that
gonna believe
ceasefire in Gaza
this
just yet.
indoor facility situation.
So was it cold? Was it raining? What was the deal? He wanted to be indoors.
Probably snowy.
Yeah. Also, they
yeah.
got the brakes beat off of them too by Fresno State.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's New Mexico in December. Probably.
That's great.
A place, a quick side. I'll replace anything else. That was one of the few official visits that I'd taken as a high school player.
State or?
It was to New Mexico University in Albuquerque. And so I do know personally it's cold as shit. Didn't know that. Thought New Mexico.
Yeah, I thought it would be hot. Yeah.
I mean, people ski there.
I might have worn this amount of clothing.
Breaking Bad. They didn't have snow in Breaking Bad, did they?
Well,
they wore heavy jackets.
Sure. I had no idea what to expect. Didn't think twice about it. I'm like, okay, you're putting me on a plane. I'm going there. Quickly learned, not that great a place, but the reason that I did not accept an offer, end up going there, was because they took me to a house party the night before the final night at Hank Baskett's house.
Ah, yes.
Former wide receiver
Eagle.
for UNM, and then Eagle, Kendra
Wilkinson.
Thank you. I was going to misname it.
She accused
ex-husband.
him of being
Hefner's.
She accused him of being a transvestite.
Yeah.
Correct. And in which they were like, "Hey, KJ, what do you drink?" At that time, I didn't drink anything. It was, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, Jack and Coke. And so they get me a small bottle of Jack Daniels and like a couple 20 ounces of Coke. And I'm like sitting at a house party, and the person does not drink. I'm just like, okay, I guess I just pour this in here and I just drink it. I don't stand up for probably 30 minutes. I finally do. I'm like, I am about to fall over. I go, basically wander into a room, turns out to be the garage, find a bag, and basically vomit in the bag. And I'm like, all right, y'all got to get me out of here, out the side door. So I'm sitting in breakfast the next day, pouring sweat in front of the head coach. He's like, so tell me about your experience, and you're ready to become a Lobo? And I'm like, you're going to have to excuse me. Like, straight out of a movie, I'd like get up and go straight to the restroom, and again, could not do anything but be put on a plane, just pouring hangover, vomiting as like a 17-year-old. I'm like, yeah, I blame them as much as anything, but I can also say, I could have seen it coming with Hank Basket.
College coaches are probably used to quite a bit of that.
Yeah, the same coach is back now, I believe. Rocky Long is back there, and the quarterback at the time, who was like my host, one of my hosts, is now their OC. So maybe they'll invite me back.
Is that what college? Was that Joe's experience?
Yeah.
College visits?
Yeah.
Just take and get you effed up?
House parties usually because you don't have ID situations. And because I had to act as a host later on at SMU, but you go to house party as a default unless you really have like a go-to bar. And then sometimes it's strip club, or you've got girls that will be more likely to show attention. Not saying like in the bag for sure, all that, but like are willing to play along.
Did they have ladies messing with you?
Again, I couldn't have told you because I just sat there like an ignorant 17-year-old drinking myself into a stupor instead of like standing up and like
socializing,
mingling,
doing anything. I was so nervous about how to manage the drinking part that like I don't think I walked around the house aside from walking in, sat down, found myself in like a Walmart bag 45 minutes later. It was very poor performance on my end. I blame the elevation.
Huh.
That's like having kids.
Yeah.
I can't, man.
Yeah. Just can't handle it.
Well, that's good. That's interesting. It's a world I've never been a part of. You probably have, Jake.
No, not necessarily, but I mean, I definitely have heard all this. I mean, my brother lived with like 10 offensive linemen in a house in New Orleans, and just hearing them tell their stories of being hosted and hosting. And the funny part was, I'm pretty sure my brother's host was the head coach's son. He was a quarterback, Chris Selfo and Anthony Selfo, and he played baseball too. And so like he was just like, it's Tulane at the time. There weren't that many like big men on campus. So he was just like the dude, and he was cool as shit. And I just like, yeah, my brother got home, and I was like, what's it like? I remember calling him. He's like, yeah, it's a lot.
Did you see that Tulane just hired a new coach?
I knew their coach left.
Troy's coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got Troy's coach because Tulane's went to Houston.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find the story. Tulane hired a new coach, and I believe at his opening press conference, did he guarantee a national championship? Did you hear about this, Blake?
Yeah, I read this headline. I was unfamiliar with who said it, but I remember it was like some random school saying that.
Sean King walking through the door?
Dude, I mean,
John Sumrall pledges to bring a national championship to Tulane. Oh, look, I have 2 college stories saved. The other one is Albuquerque's Tim Keller and Fresno mayor agree to a bowl game wager. And it's a weird
This is the most
bet.
New Mexico Bowl coverage you could ever imagine.
In that the mayor of the winning side sends food from their town to the other town to enjoy.
What?
So yes,
original.
Shouldn't that be reversed?
I've got a counter proposal. The loser has to go live in the other town for 48 hours. And I think that would serve as decent punishment, whether you're from Fresno or Albuquerque. No offense.
What if the winner got to urinate on the logo of
That's good.
of the loser?
Jerry Kill, 61 years old. It's
I would've
a
guessed.
hard
Yeah,
61.
yeah. Very hard 61.
12 years younger than, Seattle. Pete Carroll.
All right. Now, we do have some Today in History, but we also have Jake's small reports type thing.
We can do that now if you want.
And this is the open for that.
So, we've talked about this before. You see an article about the Mandela effect. Like seemingly I see something like here, top 10 or top 20 or top 40 Mandela effect.
What does that mean?
It's basically, well, so that I don't screw it up, I'll just read it straight to you from an observed phenomenon in which a large segment of the population misremembers a significant event or shares a memory of an event that did not occur.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's a big one on the? Or I hope you're not going to do like a report on a Sinbad movie.
Of course I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what's.
Yeah.
Reese, obviously, with our newfound Sinbad tie-in with the show.
Yeah, so
people have sent me something about this.
A researcher coined the term to describe collective false memory when she
Nelson
discovered.
Mandela is black, by the way.
That's the way we all remember it.
That might be the Mandela effect? Is that everyone thought he was white?
Yeah,
I would have thought he was Oriental.
Anyways,
Anyways,
she discovered a significant number
also,
of people.
what? Imprisoned for 30 years, a political prisoner, got out and immediately divorced his wife, who hung with him the whole time. Look it up.
That's close to a newt, right?
Gingrich.
Yeah, didn't
right?
I think he?
Beat
There's
cancer?
some debate about when exactly he delivered the news, but I've heard the story that he told his wife while she was at the hospital dying of cancer that he was
getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Why don't you go and sign this, honey?
And I don't think she died like the next day. But she made it a few more months or something. But yeah.
Left wife.
Yeah, you
while
gotta-
she was in the hospital with cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to ride that out.
I would think so. It's like, what's she
Especially
gonna
you're
do?
like
Just go do
70
whatever you
or
were
whatever.
gonna do. She's not getting up.
Yeah, what's she gonna do?
Has Nelson Mandela ever been called Nelly? Has anyone just ever
Nelly,
like Don Nelson, just like by default?
Big Nelly.
Hey, Nelly.
But the thing
Anyways.
is that everyone thought he had died in prison in the 80s.
Okay.
But he was released from prison in 90, alive.
Nelson Mandela?
Learned that on Fresh Prince.
So, there's a ton of these, right? The Berenstein or Berenstain Bears, the Jiffy peanut butter, Jif, like that only Jif existed.
There's nothing called Jiffy peanut butter.
I was
really?
gonna say this is news to me.
That's really only Jif.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Then that's it. That's there.
this is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So, a popular one relates to a movie that some people say was made called Shazam. Not the one that came out in 2019, but the one that people say came out in the 80s, starring Sinbad. Now, there's also a movie that came out in the 90s, which I believe is the only movie I ever walked out of, and one of the first I ever got to go to on my own, called Shazam.
You think a person named Kajan wasn't excited about watching a movie called Kazam? Because I damn sure was, Bob, and I was there on the day one.
I remember, this is similar to our thing about designing our own houses the other day and how I wanted a Wendy's in mine. I remember one of his wishes somehow resulted in like Taco Bell raining from the sky. Like,
very dumping out the junk food and heavyweights-esque type scene.
Yeah.
Kazam featuring one Shaquille O'Neal. If that
No,
was
I'm well
not
aware
correct.
of that. So, but you're saying one of his wishes, or Shaq was the genie?
Yeah, and one of the
Awarding
kids
wishes.
was like, I don't remember exactly what the wish was, but he was just like, I want as many tacos as I, and just tacos just start raining from the sky. And
So why would you walk out of that movie? It sounds like your movie.
I just remember being really bored with it. And maybe I was with my dad and he wanted to walk out. This is, of course, how memories change.
Yeah, because it feels like that would be a movie made for you. Shaq is a
it
genie,
sucked,
and you
dude.
get to...
Shaq's a genie. The kid was a Devo kid, divorcee kid
It's from
with
the
a dad
era.
that worked
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
and
Sure.
made arcade games about like gang fighting.
And was one of his wishes something connected with his dad as well? I want to...
That was like the
want
final.
my dad to love me.
Yep. God. They knew the playbook.
They nailed us so hard. It sucks.
It was either work too much or definitely divorce.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people think that Sinbad made Shazam, but
The new husband is
yeah, he's
kind of a
jerk.
simp.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. This has been messing me up all week because I found on Twitter there's like an 8-minute video that this lady made. It's a bunch of TikToks stitched together. Have you seen this?
No.
She looks crazy, and this is kind of her bit. Apparently, is like exposing the idea that some of these things actually were real. They just didn't make it long enough, or whatever. She seems like a nut, like a paranormal type researcher on her own accord. She has like an 8-minute video, and I swear to God this movie existed. She's got scenes from the movie.
There's a commercial I thought was like the whole bit, right?
I thought I've seen something with like the cover of the not the DVD, the cassette tape.
Yeah.
the VHS.
So what are you saying about the commercial?
I mean, I'm familiar with this like Mandela effect iteration, but it is definitely the one that I still decline to believe like did not exist, and could have painted the picture of Sinbad's face as somebody who watched the Sinbad show as a youth. UPN was quite popular in our household, shocking nobody. I was definitely aware that he had like 2 or 3 like kids-oriented movies, and then that's my word of the day, I guess. Along with something I would have said was like made-for-TV Disney like genie-esque thing. So, what are you telling me exists on TikTok?
Okay.
So you're saying though, as leader of this, it actually did not exist?
Okay. He denies it, right?
Sinbad,
time and time again, has said this movie did not exist. See, don't you think it's funny? Even one of his tweets right here, this is from 2016. He said, "Have you noticed no one my age has seen this so-called Sinbad genie movie? Only you people who were kids in the 90s? The young mind." Okay?
Okay. I mean, if Sinbad said it doesn't exist, I'm going to have to go with that.
Going through some old movies I've got. A whole bunch of them everywhere. Some I picked up from storage and all that stuff from when I was a kid, and I guess it did exist.
He's got a Shazam VHS. He's holding it. Now, could he have just labeled it differently? Perhaps. Let's continue. Now the crazy lady will start.
You know, Auntie, that is not all that I've got. It gets so much better. I always think to myself with these Mandela effects when they're trying to snowball us, lie right to our faces. There are so many people involved. How do they get everyone involved in making the movies to go along with their life? Do they erase the memories of the actors? Or do they, I don't know, pressure them into going along? Well, in this case, the young boy that played in the movie was Sinbad. If they tried to erase this boy's memory, well, they did not do the trick. As during an interview, the young boy who played the young boy in Shazam, he had something to say too.
The Shazam Kazam controversy.
Yes.
The genie thing.
Yeah, 100%. When I got this job, everyone
Do you have
was
just audio pulled up, or is that a video?
Just audio.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a bunch of BS in her video that
Okay.
I cut out.
The Shazam Kazam controversy.
Yes.
The genie thing.
Yeah, 100%. When I got this job, everyone was like, wait, wasn't that the Shaq movie when he was a genie? I was like, no, that's Kazam.
Yeah, because Shazam was a movie, genie movie starring Sinbad, that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist. This is a complete Mandela effect thing, and I still haven't been able to figure this out.
Did you remember do you have a memory of the Sinbad movie? Me too.
100%
No,
I do.
it was real. I remember it.
Yeah, but can you find it online?
No!
No, you can't.
It's so freaky.
I don't know what's going on with this. It's very, very, very strange. And only parts of the population remember it and other parts don't.
Even the
Okay, now I'm going to fast forward to you. I think this is from the movie.
What are you doing? Dad could have thrown out all of Mom's stuff. He just could have. James.
Are we getting a dead mom undertone?
Gone here. Something real. We can remember her by. Hey. We have our memories. They're real. No one can take that from us. Yeah. Clean this up. Can you imagine if Dad saw this mess?
They're up in an attic.
Really hooked on them. Bless you. Money. What is that?
They find a lamp.
Whoa.
Too much audio.
Man, it feels good to get out that thing.
Who does that sound like?
Should've took you long enough, Tina. Wait, y'all are not Tina.
Problematic.
What happened to saying hello? I believe we got off on the wrong foot.
Don't come any closer.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start all over, right? I'm gonna introduce myself. I am Shazam! I'm the genie of the lamp.
It's Sinbad.
Yeah.
And I've seen the video.
I'm watching the video.
Do you know how hard it would be to somehow alter this and make it look like an old VHS tape?
No. I've got problems, though. In that video, like, when they start seeing the lamp, there's a newspaper that says, like, Mandela effect on it. And there's a Berenstain Bears book in the foreground.
So I don't know.
So I think this might be a
ball sack?
2015, somebody paid Sinbad enough to remake it.
And then they just, like, made it look old?
I think so.
That would be even more awesome.
Which I'm good with, but, again, as somebody who grew up...
Can you pull up my computer?
Like, when I was rolling the audio, I guess I didn't notice that. But either way, it's correct. It's awesome.
Yeah. You could see it here. This is what you were just playing.
Yeah. So if you jump back to where they're finding the lamp briefly, probably about, I don't know, I can timestamp it for you. A third of the way through it. It is, maybe right, let's see. Sorry, it's tremendous. Right around this area. When they knock everything over, you catch the Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops
They
commercial.
start zooming out, and then you're going to catch a newspaper on the right and then a Berenstain Bears book.
That's
on the left.
badass. That's awesome.
So that's my
So
giveaway.
that says memory. Or
Yeah, and I mean, my first
Mandela.
The first way that I was
or
a little
Nelson
bit
Mandela. Okay.
The first way that I was a little bit suspicious, not enough to not believe it, was when the dialogue between the kids was, "We have our memories of her, and no one can take that away from us." That's when I was like, okay, it's a little bit weird that this movie that everyone says collectively we misremember has the dialogue of, "We have these memories, and no one can take them from us."
Right. So you saw a lady put together a Twitter thing that is alleging this is real.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why I just And I obviously
And
I've,
what she
I've heard
used-
about this a ton of times.
What she used was, if you look here, this is on IMDb. This is called "We Found Sinbad's Shazam movie," put out by College Humor.
Aha!
I looked at that same page, completely missed the College Humor.
So did
Banner.
they?
Well, I did see
Did they
that.
actually hire?
I think
okay,
so.
look, writers Sinbad.
I think so. What's the year on this?
20.
This says
15.
episode aired 2017.
Okay, so that's accurate. But even before this, I would have been at the front of the line, swearing up and down.
So Sinbad is in on it.
Yeah,
putting
this
out
video,
the tweet.
yes.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm with KJ. Like, it was news to me that this movie didn't exist.
Correct.
Me too.
Like when I got
No.
Yeah, I mean,
I absolutely thought.
So I'm-
yes, I've seen Sinbad wearing a genie outfit.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
I mean, that's how he dresses, I guess. Right? Kind of wears.
So I was grasping at straws when I saw this of like, yes, someone can prove to me that it's real. So I don't even care that I got ball sacked
No,
because
it's fine. I'm not here to cut it out from underneath you. I do want to make sure that when it comes to Sinbad, I take things very seriously.
I
think people
appreciate
need to
that.
realize that.
Yeah, I think it's important that we cover this, especially.
Yeah.
What are the odds that within the next calendar year, Sinbad is
what,
on
dude?
this podcast?
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Oh, I
dead.
thought you were going to say dead. Okay, wait. Let's play both. Which one's higher odds?
I think it's higher odds that he will be via stream on this podcast.
I think you're right.
I'm going to take dead.
He's a big
Oh,
Kentucky
man.
fan.
He's the guy who
doesn't want to
books.
try to book Sinbad.
It can't be that difficult, right?
No, he does media, radio stuff, I think.
I don't want to offend
dead.
the great
Mr. Bad.
Mr. Bad.
Ask him about his time working with Phil Hartman prior to Phil Hartman's Buca de Beppo night.
Whoa.
Just saying. It's my favorite thing about Phil Hartman's Wikipedia. Great, tremendous comedian and actor. But if you go to his Wikipedia and it talks about the night that he was shot by his wife while sleeping, the first line is after dinner at Buca de Beppo, and I'm like,
unnecessary.
Why do I need to
detail.
know that they stopped off at the table in the kitchen at Buca de Beppo and had a tour of Italy prior to this man being murdered? But
The table in the kitchen is really fun.
it's.
I've never done that.
You haven't?
I think I tried to. Do
I
it
think you
once
should
and-
do it. Like it's fun with kids.
Don't you have
obviously.
to have like a really nice restaurant? What are you talking about?
No, Buca.
You don't know
has,
about the
like,
table in the kitchen?
No.
Okay, so no. Yes, they have 5 rooms.
Yeah.
Buca's huge. Go to the one up here in Grapevine or South Lake, wherever it is, off 114. And then, yes, when they're walking you to your table a lot of times, they walk you through the kitchen. So you're seeing them do the pizza thing and put the the pasta and they're doing all the stuff. They're yelling, hey, we need this over here. And as you walk through, you note on your right then, there's one recessed into one wall. It is a booth that you could have a seat right there and be watching the kitchen the whole time.
That actually sounds awesome.
So
I
as
think
you walk
Nora
to your
would love it.
table, you'll be like, man, I'd like to sit there someday. How do you get that table? Like, oh, you got to call ahead and blah, 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 and you reserve it, and you're like, oh, okay. So, yeah, that's a thing to do with family coming into town or you definitely when you have a couple of kids, then you don't have to hand them, in theory, an iPad. You can just say, sit here. Look at all this crazy stuff.
It doesn't hold a candle to like the caboose inside of a spaghetti warehouse, but for like the kid
that's the
occupation
throwback right
thing,
there,
like,
yes.
that is
That was
certainly the
awesome.
place to be.
Did you guys ever?
Monopoly Man didn't have a monocle.
What?
Wait, what?
What?
Is that why the Monopoly board's also in that shot? I guess, but okay.
He certainly had a monocle on the cover of the box, right?
I know he's holding 2
What
bags
else you
of
got?
money.
Yeah, these are fun.
Mr. Peanut.
Some of them
did.
are kind of visual.
Mr. Peanut did have a monocle, didn't he? Maybe I'm
Um,
thinking of Mr. Peanut. All right.
They're called
Is Mr.
Cheez-It,
Peanut white?
not Cheez-Its. Like the
Okay.
box says Cheez-It. I would have gotten that one wrong.
Fine.
Jiffy for sure, though.
Yeah, that one.
Jiffy peanut butter?
Yeah. Let's see.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, well, maybe it was just a send up by collegehumor.com.
It's like I think her name is Caitlin Knobloch.
collegehumor.com, my homepage for a solid 5 years.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right, before closing thoughts, Oh, wait. How do I not have this open? All right. Let me do this, and we'll do this. Sorry. Got to have it open. Oh, this is not holiday themed.
Do you guys remember what Papa John said whenever he got in trouble for you saying the N-word the first time? Like when people got onto him on the call, and he said, Colonel Sanders used to say it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then in a shocking twist, Colonel Sanders' family came to his defense.
To Papa's defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Colonel did.
Colonel did.
Yeah, like everybody said it when Colonel Sanders was saying it.
In Kentucky, for sure.
Yeah.
Today is Wednesday, December 20th. Did Kentucky Fried Chicken ever change back to Kentucky Fried Chicken? Because they used to, remember they rebranded to KFC because they thought the country was going to get healthy?
Why are you asking just me?
Well, you know. It's Wednesday, December 20th. This will be our last broadcast before Christmas.
Before Christmas.
Unless Rob talks me into doing a stream with nobody else here. Because Rob wants to do a stream on Sunday. Oh, he doesn't? Good. All right, we're not going to do it Sunday. But yes. And already I'm running into people. Somebody yesterday told me, see you next year. So on this day, December 20th, in 1987, Jerry Rice set 2 records when he caught a 20-yard touchdown pass from Steve Young. He caught his 19th of the season, an NFL record, and it was the 12th game in a row in which he caught a touchdown pass. That was an NFL record. Just imagine, though.
Yep.
Had he been in an offense that threw it around.
That year, when they gave it to Rathman, averaged 4.1 yards a carry. 257 yards on the season.
That's got to be Norm's worst sports point ever.
It's not good. It's not good.
On this day in 1995, an American Airlines Boeing 757 heading to Colombia hit a mountain. 163 people aboard. 159 died.
Ooh, is that too many for you?
4 survivors.
It's 4 too many?
That's kind of cool.
Okay, so what's the number?
Then I wonder if you get together every year.
Yeah.
It probably increases your, get off of this mountain possibility.
Yeah.
But he wants to be a lone survivor.
Fair.
So I'm just wondering what the number is where he's like, I would rather be dead. Is it 10?
I think single digits, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But 4 seems good.
Because
that's a nice
at
little group.
4, you're probably still doing, the Today Show.
Mm-hmm. You don't want
7?
2 rows on your Today Show interview. You can't have 2 rows.
Okay, yeah. If it's 14.
Yeah, that's not happening. I think 9, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I think 4, they could still get you on.
So we got to go under 5?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
All right. On this day in 2002, Ted Williams' oldest daughter, Bobby Jo Williams Farrell, she dropped her objections to her siblings' decision to have Ted Williams' body frozen at a cryonics lab in Arizona.
Man. I listened to, I think it was either Radiolab or This American Life about that one time, and you want to talk about the craziest people on earth.
About Ted Williams or about this cryonics lab?
About the cryonics lab, but he was heavily featured. His son.
I saw
His son was heavily featured.
How to? John Wilson did it.
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what I saw recently. Okay.
He went to the convention.
I was like, I just saw a documentary on that.
Yeah. I don't have to go to many conventions, but it looked so low rent. It was like, okay, so if I'm going to give you my body and let you freeze it to bring me back to life, it's got to be better than this.
Holiday Inn.
This
Days Inn.
Marriott.
Yeah.
Marriott Complex in Arizona.
Does John Wilson have the end and then work backwards? Or does he really stumble upon things that leads him into that? Because he started that episode with, plastic bags. or something.
Yeah,
he always starts with something, and it leads him somewhere, and then he just he just decides to interview somebody, or am I going to find out just like the MILF Hunter? This was all set up.
No, I don't think it's set up, but I do think you're right that he has a theme that he probably executes the ending part of it first. And then as you've seen, the way he archives and documents, like he's just, when he wants to build the story, he's got a thing that says bag.
Yeah.
You know? Like if you've never seen, like he shows his archive thing sometime, and he's a special person. We'll put it to you like that.
Does he keep better notes than Blake?
Yes.
Come on.
The man's probably outspent my entire life's expenditures just on like hard drives and storage space for sure.
Yeah, I love that show. But it's also, it makes me angry to think about that show because I watch it with my wife, and she'll be playing her phone.
Oh, yeah. And you'll miss like the connecting arc.
And then I have to rewind it 12 times during it, and I'm like, you don't need to be looking at your phone during that. You know it's only a half hour.
Yeah.
It's only a half-hour show. And it's not like she's playing brick or bubble pop or something really mundane.
It's not Immaculate Grid or something cool.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not a word game. Don't the word games, they make you smart?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look at me.
Yeah.
On this day in 2008, the Cowboys played their last game at Texas Stadium.
Baltimore?
Baltimore's right. Nice job.
And who was the fullback? McLean?
Did they win or lose?
They lost.
They got
trucked.
smashed. Yeah.
Was
Baltimore
that a
might have
Romo
ran
team?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Baltimore might have ran for 300 yards in that game.
And on this day in 2015, Pia Alonso Wurzbach was crowned Miss Universe. And this is the Miss Universe where Steve Harvey mistakenly identified the first runner-up as the winner.
That is one of my favorite moments in pop culture in the last however many years. Just the shot of him backstage, like, so upset.
He can get away with it because he's Steve Harvey, and he's awesome.
The legend. 265 on 36 carries, by the way, Blake, for Baltimore that day.
Yeah,
The
McLean.
Yeah, LaRon McLean.
LaRon
But
McLean.
they also
Okay.
had Willis McGahee.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Today's birthdays, we have former Cowboy Nate Newton is 62.
McGahee 8 for 108.
Yeah. Big Nate, moving weight.
Quick
on
Nate.
the interstate.
Sam Cook had a carry. Did they run a fake punt?
Why not?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Quick Nate anecdote. In my brief time being a coworker of a few of you in the past life, I was sitting at my desk in the sales section, pretending like I knew what the hell I did there and trying to sell somebody, don't you want, Fizz and the baby to show up from 93.3 at your barbecue joint, and pounding away at the phone. And I feel very heavy hands on my shoulders and a voice leaning in my ear say, "Hey brother, I'm Nate Newton. It's great to see you here. We don't see many of us around here. If you ever need anything, just come by and ask. It's great to see you. Great to see you. Real happy to see more of us here." I'm like, "Well, you sir, I can only think about that vehicle that was in Louisiana that one time, in which you got pulled over. I'm sorry, and your slip." And I'm like, I couldn't say anything. I was like, "Oh, thanks. It means a lot. Tremendously nice."
You're like, Nate, actually, it's interesting. I've got a significant amount of narcotics that I need to offload.
They're never going to suspect you a third time.
Yeah. Come on, buddy.
This is the perfect time to
Come
do it.
on.
I felt so bad that was genuinely the very first thought I had when I
He's just trying to mentor
Nate
you
Newton in
and
the face.
give you an outlet.
I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. Unfortunately, I only sell music.
I'm a Jags fan. Boy, that's great, man. What a king.
Good dude, though. Good dude.
He was
Of
always
course.
so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Prison will do that. I'm
What
sorry.
NFL team did Nate Newton finish his career with?
That's a good question. I was actually just thinking about that.
Carolina.
Oh, I would not have got there.
Former Cowboy Roy Williams, 42.
Which one?
Safety, correct?
He went to Permian High School.
Oh, well, yeah.
The wide receiver.
Wait, I'm sorry. What'd you just say?
Roy Williams.
Oh, yeah. He
Went to
came in
Permian.
with B.J. Johnson, South Grand Prairie, Sloan Thomas. Yeah, I know UT fan 748 at AOL knows.
These were the teams I was making.
I can't remember where Sloan Thomas went to high school, and I'm not going to look it up. That was dude, 3 5 stars.
Yeah.
I need to get him Mike Roach's book, talking to all those guys about their recruitment trips or
I do need
recruitment
to do
process.
that.
It's tremendous.
Current Ranger Dane Dunning, 29.
When it's a Dane Dunning day, you know it's over. It's done.
Jenny Buchek is 50.
I know that name.
So I saw her
Why do I know
name
that
on
name?
my NBA/WNBA birthdays.
Oh, she's a coach.
She was WNBA, and then I searched her, and yes, she was a Mavs coach.
Yeah, I think she went to Virginia, which is where Carlisle went.
And she's currently a Pacers coach.
They had known each other for a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
You think kid's going to put up with that? Actually, Cuban would be like, no.
Right.
No chance, bud.
We have one woman in a...
We're not even going to attempt it here.
Lendale White, 39.
Man, in his day.
So I thought he was going to be great.
I did too.
And then I did some Wikipedia on him this morning. And apparently he showed up to the combine all fat and out of shape.
He was very big. He was big already.
And they said they were the press was calling him Len Whale White.
Okay.
I mean, I chuckled, but that's like really
aggressive.
It's also like a stretch.
But he also played what?
Lindell, you can say. Linwell doesn't sound like whale.
Lendale.
Man, I was stoked on that Titans team because they drafted both Vince Young and Lendale White.
Yeah.
I guess Chris Johnson made up for whatever Lindell didn't have, and obviously took the attention. Anyway.
And also Jeff Fisher hating Vince Young.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be great. Speaking of great college players who we all had big hopes for, Kenny Hill is 29.
Jake.
That was a tough one.
Former Dragon.
TCU coach.
Aggie and Horned Frog.
Yeah,
and I think his first game for the Aggies, he broke Manziel's record. All passing?
South Carolina. It was a Thursday night game. It
Yeah,
might
like
have been
500
Friday night.
yards passing.
Yeah, and I was like, this is because he was like the number whatever player in the nation, huge recruit, and then
I don't think I knew he was Southlake guy.
Oh yeah.
Incarnate Word currently.
Pretty much, if you find a son of a former athlete in DFW, there's a pretty good chance that they went to Southlake, or daughter. Because I'm pretty sure I saw the other day that some guy emailed us. Jermaine O'Neal's daughter is like the number one volleyball player in whatever again, and she goes to Southlake.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4
or maybe went to Southlake, but whatever. Yeah,
their volleyball team's awesome.
Yeah.
Peter Criss is 78. That is the Kiss drummer. I do that
Beating.
for Ham. Movie director Todd Phillips, 53.
Some
Hangover?
solid work in there.
Old school,
Old
The
school.
Hangover.
He's the guy who shows up and says, "I'm here for the gangbang."
That's him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's the director of the movie.
That's cool.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And explaining why I try to have context with the break. Jonah Hill is 40.
Whoa. Only 40.
The great Superbad.
Only 40? I feel like he's around our age.
Yeah, but I don't know.
He's just been in the game since he was like 18.
Yeah, makes sense.
Recent public girlfriend controversy. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. He's had a weird 10, 12 years for sure.
Where he was dating an Instagram model and
She was a surfer.
But didn't want her
She was like a professional surfer, and she would put up like, part of being a professional surfer is if you're going to promote your brand, you're probably going to be wearing a bathing suit.
Oh, yes.
And he was not real thrilled about some of the images.
Think he's going to be excited for someone to date his daughter?
But the thing is, too...
That's a great call.
Yeah.
That was a weird one on who to side with. It was kind of the NC Sansari one. He didn't coerce her. He didn't force himself on her. He didn't promise her a role. They just went out. All he wanted was her to pleasure him. She did, and then
You don't know that.
she walked away unhappy. She never said this was sexual harassment or assault or anything. She just said she was unhappy with the whole thing. And same thing with Jonah Hill. His girlfriend released his text messages.
Okay,
So he was texting her saying, I don't want you if we're going to go out together, then I don't want you doing this stuff. I don't want you promoting it. And if not, then that's fine. Then we won't go out. Like he was
pretty aggressive about it.
He was just saying, though, I'm an a-hole, but if you're not good with this, then let's not date.
Yeah.
And he was kind of laying out the ground rules real early. They weren't cool ground rules, but, you have to give him that.
Yeah. That's not the Jonah Hill thing from the last
There's something else?
handful of months. Well, I mean, he obviously had, when he lost weight, people were like, you're funnier when you're fat. When he was fat, people were like, why are you
so fat?
Why are you so fat? But no, I was thinking back in March when I woke up I think Saturday or Sunday morning to a post, I remember it was on Instagram or Twitter from Kanye West that just said, watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again. No one should take anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. Like he's middle of the night, he's watching 21 Jump Street, he's like, they're not so bad.
And
then Jonah Hill wakes up, looks at his phone, is like, why am I
trending with Kanye?
And that's where it
Thanks,
all
Kanye.
started. Ceasefires ended the next day.
Let's see. We'll do some deads now. Died on this day. We have in 2009, Brittany Murphy.
B. Rabbit's girl.
Yeah.
That's a tough one for me because for a long time I thought Tara Reid was dead and Brittany Murphy was alive.
Is that a Mandela thing?
Nah, I don't know. I was confused. Like
just Jake.
I think it was on IJB and TC's like, no, Brittany Murphy's very dead. Tara Reid very alive. Tara Reid also a contestant on what many consider to be the world's toughest test.
Stop saying that.
Weighing in at 48 pounds.
She was actually the first one eliminated.
Brittany Murphy was Heath
No
Ledger's
way.
girl, correct?
Was
girlfriend, I should
I
say,
didn't know
not
that.
girl, possessive.
Born on this day, now they're dead, we have Bob Hayes.
Bullet.
Bobby Phills has his number retired by the Charlotte Hornets because he died street racing.
It's not funny.
That might have been a Bob and Dan argument. Like Bob might have said, yeah, I think his number should be retired. I don't know. It was the year 2000. It was a long
Next
time ago.
to Muggsy Bogues and 3 others.
By the way, did you guys see Jaws walk off last night?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I was just gonna say he's running down the tunnel like I kept all the receipts. It's like, dude,
Shut
the
up.
league suspended you for having guns all
You
the
were in
time.
court
Like,
last week.
Yeah, like what is it? The receipts.
And born on this day, now dead, we have Fred Merkel.
Yep. A tradition unlike any other.
Who, on September 23rd, 1908, while playing for the New York Giants in a game against the Cubs, he committed a base running error known as Merkel's boner. So the score is tied 1-1. The winner of this game wins the pennant. And back then, there wasn't all these wild cards. There was one team would, at the end of the season, be in the World Series against, the other league's team. But only one team. That was it. And so this is a huge game. Score's tied at 1. Okay, he hits a single. So he's on first. There's a runner on third. The next batter hits a single. The runner on third runs home, touches the plate. Merkel, as was the custom of the day, didn't run to second. He just ran off the field. But I guess that was the custom of the day, but it wasn't the rule. The rule was still as it is now. You got to advance to the next base. There was 2 outs. Okay? So he ran off the field. However, Cubs second baseman Johnny Evers, you probably know him from Tinkers to Evers to Chance, that famous double play combination.
Who doesn't?
By the way, none of them, KJ, black. 1908.
I definitely went to check. I'm looking here both to make sure I was aware of the story, but also confirming.
So apparently a couple weeks prior to that, Johnny Evers had been in a game with the exact same umpire, Hank O'Day, and that situation had happened. And he tried to plead to the umpire, hey, we got to enforce this rule. And the guy's like, no, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. And so now that umpire's kind of on a higher alert for that play. They're all in the same game again. So Johnny Evers did notice this. He's the second baseman. He would know if the guy ran and touched second. So he called the umpire over. They appealed. They called him out, nullifying the final score. So the Giants don't win. In fact, though, they didn't have lights back then, so they had to replay the game because they had to suspend the game. It was too late. All the fans were on the field. They couldn't get everybody back together.
How much of the game did they replay?
The whole game.
The whole game?
Oh, my gosh.
So you're tied at 1, and they just say, we're just going to have to replay the whole game. Because that was like the rule. If a rain out that's tied in the 9th inning, they would replay the whole game.
How nervous do you think Merkel was when they replayed the game at the plate?
Well, I don't know. They lost 4-2.
Yeah.
And they lost the pennant.
They literally threw the records out of the window that game.
That's very true.
Merkel, of course, at that time, the youngest player in the league. He was only 19 years old. Would go on to a long career. But they'd always remember Merkel's boner.
And that was Today in History.
And now... KJ's closing thoughts.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so as you can see, if you're joining us here on YouTube, I am both physically, visibly black. I've known this for quite some time. As a youth, however, I always thought that one of my grandfathers was Puerto Rican and really took pride in saying that I was a Puerto Rican. Turns out he was black as well. So 3/4 black, definitively white grandmother. On the other side of my family, I have my dad, who that whole family is military, what do you call it? Servicemen. All were in the Air Force of some degree. That's like the straight-laced side. I've got 3 brothers. There are 3 dads that made the 4 of us boys. I've learned later in life there are others that could be a part of that tree. Anyways, dating my current wife, I think in year 1, her mother gave me a Christmas present. It was an Ancestry DNA. Like, hey, I know you're into history. She said, I was a history major, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you might like this.
This is the
genealogy
23andMe
stuff. Correct.
bit?
Ancestry DNA equivalent. You spit in a tube, you ship it off to the Mormons. They send back, you're definitely black, but
the way
here's where you were imported.
Golden State Killer.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which now I'm like regretting it for that reason, but also
If you want to do a string of murders over 15 years.
I'm now like, oh, well, the gloves aren't going to matter. But got that as a Christmas gift. I think for the longest I delayed it. I felt like it was a little bit of breed testing.
I wasn't going to say anything.
My mother's, my girlfriend's mom at the time, but I was like, whatever.
How black is this black person?
Yeah, I was like, you never know. Like, I don't know. It just seemed weird. But I did it anyway, went on with my life. It comes with like a year-long membership, and you go in there and you plug in the actual name of your siblings and parents if you want to. Otherwise, you leave and forget it. Being in my mid-20s, I probably logged him once or twice. Fast forward about 5 or 6 years later, and it's like, hey, you get a message. It's like, I was looking at our connections, and it looks like we may be first cousins. You'll get countless messages or notifications. You've got a new 6th or 7th cousin on your tree. I'm like, whatever. Don't even know what that means. But this one's like the first where somebody's like, oh, might be your first cousin. By the way, do you ever have, by chance, did your dad ever live in the Philippines in the 80s? And I was like, well, I definitely know that's the case. Or whatever age range, they lived in the Philippines. I'm like, I didn't respond to this person initially, but I tried to quickly do the math. My dad's only 20 years older than me, and my dad would have had been 5 to have been responsible for this.
Okay.
But my dad has a brother who's 10 years older than him, who was also in the Philippines at that time. So I was like, yeah, not my dad. Be a little young. And so by order of elimination, my dad has a sister and a brother. He's like, oh, well, now I know who my dad is, the elder one.
Wow. So wait, this person was searching for their real father.
Correct.
And it turns out
never heard of him.
It's your uncle.
Exactly. And all I did was basically like eliminate my dad's name from consideration, not realizing I was confirming this person's suspicion. I didn't really go into it further than that. This person's in Atlanta, roughly my age. So I told my dad about it, and this was probably 3-4 years ago. Didn't think much of it. On occasion, I'd hear, "Oh well, such and such, your uncle told me to say thanks," and my dad did not mean that in a very genuine way.
Hey,
yeah,
thanks.
exactly. Like, thanks for connecting the dots there. And I was like, okay, no big deal. This past summer, I get invited to the family reunion for the first time, pretty much ever, and outside of Chicago, which going back to the knew and understood that I was black at a young age. I knew that. I did not realize like that my dad's side of the family like had spent a significant amount of time like south side of Chicago, like the terrible part of Chicago, and like a great uncle that was part of Black Disciples, all kind of other crap that I'd like learned recently. I say all that to say like I could be playing the black card so much harder than I do. Yeah. So the amount of restraint that I show is very impressive. Anyhow, I get to the reunion and I see my uncle for the first time since any of this has happened. And he was not like visibly or demonstrably mad. Like he's, again, they're all Air Force-esque. Like he's a superintendent of a school district somewhere. And so, he's a pretty buttoned up guy. He's like, yeah, so thanks again for putting me in touch with, such and such. It's been really interesting. It took a lot of explaining on my end because it turns out it wasn't while he was 15. It's that he enjoyed visiting the Philippines during his like off time. And it was like while married and had taken a trip back and all these things.
It's not really that uncommon for military, especially like if you're deployed in somewhere like, in Japan or something, you can get not too much of a flight. I know people who
you get there for free and he enjoyed it. Turns out the other part of the creating the baby here, the mom, was also in the Air Force or Air Force adjacent. She was on base. It wasn't an off base situation. Otherwise, I doubt the person would get ancestry DNA and be able to connect here. So yeah, he kind of got the point across. Like, hey, this is kind of fucked up my shit. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say here.
Yeah, it's not.
I was like,
so he was still married to the same.
I think that
lady.
She wasn't there, but I believe they are still together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
But
by the way,
he had to explain. I have a fun baby.
Correct. Who's now tracked me down and lives in the U.S. I'm like, hey, well, here's my 2 kids. Great. This was 3. This is 1.5. Blah blah. How to get out of this? About an hour later, somebody comes up and they're like, hey, by the way, I'm so and so. Thanks again for responding to the message. I'm really excited to meet my uncle, like my uncle, his dad. So somebody in the tree had communicated and invited and shared the information, and the son showed up, and I got to watch a full-blown Maury Povich live like reunion happen in front of my face. No, they talked. They'd communicated by phone and or email, but he just got invited and was there.
Wow.
And so I'm just sitting there, summertime Chicago,
it's
sweating
all your
already.
fault.
And I'm like, I know that both he and there's at least 1 or 2 other people here who are like less than thrilled about this. But then I know my dad's sister, my uncle's sister, whatever. She's definitely the type of like, that's your family, and the appropriate response. Like, everybody should be happy to be together. She's a big pushing force to make the reunion happen. So she was very happy for this to happen. I basically went and stood in the parking lot and tried to watch like through the window of my car. Like, I don't know what I expected to happen, but it was the most like, they sat down, they chatted, and like they made the best out of it. But I just was sitting there like, I I don't know where this goes from here. Like, okay, are we all going back to the same hotel and having dinner, or like what's happening? Like, is this now I've got another cousin, I guess?
This is all your mother-in-law's fault.
Yeah, and how does the cousin or the new cousin?
Oh, yeah, my mother-in-law, yes.
And his newly reunited dad, like, let's say that was my fun baby. I'd be like, all right, well, I got a long drive.
Yeah.
And,
exactly.
You follow me on the gram.
Yeah, like, what do you do at that point? And my uncle was
Dan,
already
69.
there with, like, his third kid, who basically, like, his legitimate son, but
So now this guy's meeting his
second marriage
brothers.
son. Yeah, now this guy's meeting a half brother, and they're having
And that's
a chat.
out of nowhere
and,
to the
like,
brother.
Like, he probably had known for a few months if the dad told him.
Right.
But it had never been, I don't know. The air was quite thick in southern or south side of Chicago that day, and I was not built for that kind of in-person, like, real-life awareness of, like, oh, shit. And here I am next to my wonderfully supportive, kind, and intelligent, loving former landlord and current wife. And she's like, oh, it's no big deal. What are you worried about? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. That's because literally you can see your entire family tree. You understand, you're just interested. Oh, we're 14% Welsh. And I'm like, it doesn't work quite the same way. There are some, you're checking like import-export dates on your ancestry and like stitching together where people were left off and or, found. And I'm like, this has been quite an experience. All of that to say, if you at home have purchased an Ancestry DNA or 23andMe kit for a loved one, you're in for tremendous entertainment.
Was the lady that your uncle hooked up with?
Mm-hmm. She was not there.
Was she black?
Or
did all of a sudden a white kid
visible?
shows up?
No. Visible. It was like the one few times in my entire life where like I got to have the inverse of my wife got to experience my experience, which was wonderful to see. But I would estimate probably maybe half Filipino. I don't know. Again, I'm just like 1,000% visually judging. Black and or Filipino.
Well, they could have told you because they have the...
Exactly. I could have looked at the profile.
DNA
I didn't
kit.
look at the profile.
Yeah.
I will say this, like the one really interesting note, my dad's a high school teacher. His mother was a principal. As I mentioned, my uncle is a superintendent. Like they're sitting there, and there's a section of our family reunion in which our grandparents, my grandmother being like 84, and her siblings were all there, like talking about their parents and grandparents, like to legitimate, including slave, like post-slave family members. And it all had traced back, like they were talking, like their grandmother was a teacher and theirs was teacher. The found son is currently a teacher. Completely grew up elsewhere, off the grid. I almost said reservation. That would have been terrible. Like completely outside of the tree, and that's the profession that found him. I'm not spiritual, like look for the coincidences guy, but I thought that was like, oh, well, not only is he also black and have our DNA, but he's also a teacher, and that's tremendous.
He put a positive bow on the end of it there, right?
That's interesting, just because I have never known my biological dad, but I've never not done it for this reason. Like I haven't wanted to search for him. I've had the ability to.
Yeah.
Like I do know he probably lives in the Cleveland area somewhere. That's where. But now that I think about that, that would just be a huge wrench in his life. For what? For what do I need it for?
I mean,
like you're now.
Some people feel like they do. Some people feel like they don't.
And I don't understand that logically.
The only pragmatic,
I guess as a person without feelings.
The only pragmatic thing I could offer is like
disease is one.
I would say if you have any noticeable health history things, like I would want to know that because I didn't know my maternal grandfather until recently, and I found the unfortunate part of all this when he died a month ago. I sent a group text that my grandfather's name was TC, so I have to live with that being a part of TC Nation.
Yeah.
But like I would say legitimately the only thing I would care about is like, oh, how'd they die? And my first question was,
if you have a history of cancer or whatever, I suppose.
And they're like, oh,
heart
it's
disease.
This is 94, and I'm like, well, all right, never mind, don't care.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I know my wife's going to live till she's in her late 90s because every woman in her family tree has done so. And she doesn't eat healthy.
Yeah.
She doesn't exercise. She doesn't do anything, and she's in great shape. She's going to be fine.
I did have a sense of like when I'd see those messages come through that weren't direct connections of like, not like, my 20s or 30s was littered with money or resources of like, oh man, these people are going to come ask for money. Like, not like that was a concern. But I did have it in the back of my mind always like, hey, are they going to ask me for money or are they going to ask me for organs? And I'm like, yeah, those are the two things that like.
I don't want to give up either, so.
I don't need to go to any other parties. Yeah, exactly. So I didn't respond to any until that one. And, look where it got me.
And then you ruined some people's lives.
There you have
But brought them together.
I don't think I'd ever do it.
Don't recommend it.
23andMe thing.
I don't recommend it.
Would you?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, obviously people will say, like, it's not 100% accurate. Nothing is 100% accurate. But it's pretty accurate. I do worry a little bit, and I don't even know why, about, like, somebody having all of your,
Right,
I don't
same
plan
here.
on committing any crimes like that, but.
But you never know. You might fall into a situation you can't get out of.
I don't know.
Did you ever have
There's
sex with a
something-
lady without protection, like in college? Like, what if all of a sudden a kid knocks on your door?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that
So
is
we
a
don't need that.
possibility. No, that's probably the biggest reason not to do it.
Your
Dan.
wife
You're
ain't
right.
sticking with you on that one, is she?
Probably not. Well, no, I mean, if it's that, if
That's
it
what I'm
was
saying.
college,
Yeah.
I don't think so. But yeah, I think the only reason I ever
If it
wanted
was
to
your
do
trip
it
to Toronto
yeah.
with the stars.
Yeah. Blake and I were too broke. The only reason I would want to do it is I've always wanted to like be able to pump up my native thing a little bit more, because like my great grandmother looked like a Native American.
Okay, yeah.
And so I always thought growing up, like,
That could
one,
get your kids into college.
probably too late on the Scully play,
Yeah.
because maybe one above me. I don't know, but that's the only reason I ever wanted to do it, is be like, what if I could tell people it's like 10%?
The scholarship part is a big part, but also there's like way cheaper healthcare. Not like fantastic as someone who's like hired people into the IHS, but like, primary care could be free for their life.
As a small business owner, you should be very concerned about that.
Well, thanks, KJ.
Thank you guys, and happy holidays. Most importantly, Kwanzaa, as it is the day after Christmas. I learned on Wikipedia the other day.
Too much dip.
And we'll see
Too
you
much
after.
dip, yes.
We'll see you next year.
Adios, mofo.